Welcome everybody to High and Low, a podcast about talking picture shows.
We do films that are corny, and some that are horny, and some that win Academy Awards.
Doing all kind of movies from all kind of genres, serving hot takes like plates of lasagna.
Before we get going, a warning to you. You might hear some talk that's a little blue.
We sometimes cuss and we sometimes curse. We like to do it off the cuff and don't rehearse.
Now if this sounds like your kind of show,
Tune in,
Drop out.
This is High and Low.
Welcome back to High and Low, the podcast where we compare two movies connected by an arbitrary theme of our choosing. One of them is a high, and the other is a low. Prior to recording this episode, we received a distressing communique about some wet work that needs to be done to overthrow a Central American, democratically elected official. We're en route to the drop zone, and we're going to discuss John McTiernan's 1987 action masterpiece, Predator, and then we're going to compare it to Bruno Mattei's 1988 clone, Robowar. I'm Vaughn, Splatterbag Gonziola, joined with me as always by Mitchell, Stab Mother McIsaac,
Happy to be here, General. Ready to serve.
and Luke, Cumshot Slowbod.
Hi, they call me Cumshot. If you come at me, you best be prepared to get shot.
Gentlemen, we don't have any time to lose. Time is of the essence. We need to get going right away. We only have 72 hours to complete this podcast. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're throwing us into a fucking meat grinder.
This better not be an assassin mission. I don't do this kind of mission.
Have you ever seen the movie Predator? It's part of your essential briefing for this episode.
Yeah, many times.
Many times.
Many times.
It's classic. I've probably seen this movie more than maybe just about any other movie. There's probably 2 movies I've seen more, but
Yeah, I've seen it a whole bunch
watched
too.
this a million times, watch it a million times with my dad. We just like watch it every weekend for like years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I watched it again last night for this, and it's just as good as the first time. Like, it holds up so well.
This might actually have been my favorite viewing, and it probably had a lot to do with watching it next to Robowar, and it just made me appreciate Predator so much more. Robowar was fun.
Robowar was fun, but it's, out of any of the movies we've done so far, it's the most we have Predator at home type of movie, right? You know, if you're at the movie store and you want to rent a movie from your parents, like, no, we already have that one at home, and you go home and it's just like a total garbage ripoff.
There's lots of one-to-one scene comparisons.
I don't know how anybody didn't get sued. I guess there's enough
They just didn't
differences.
bother.
It's the straightest rip we've done on this show yet, for sure.
Tied, at least, with Eric the Conqueror.
Yeah,
for a
Eric the
one-to-one
Conqueror
rip.
had a lot more interesting things of its own
It had
going
its
on, though, by
twists.
comparison.
Yeah, so Robowar, it's not a straight Predator ripoff. It absolutely is a Predator ripoff, but they are also ripping off RoboCop, and so I guess that's
Just at the very end for 5 minutes.
yeah. So I guess that's how they got out of their legal loophole.
Omega One is the robot in a Robowar. He's actually joining us in the studio tonight. Say hello to the folks at home, Omega One.
Target facing.
I am so happy to be on the High and Low podcast with you three, my best friends, Bibidi Bibidi.
His look is your look was very much like the RoboCop robot, wasn't it? Was it inspired by RoboCop?
Bibidi Bibidi Bibidi. I was Paul Verhoeven's first choice for Robocop, but Peter Weller is a nasty man.
Target facing. Remap short side out.
All right, Omega One. We'll talk to you later in the second half of the show.
What a character. What a character. Boy, what a get for this podcast.
But yeah, this is just a straight, like you said, RoboCop in the mix, maybe a little Terminator, but mostly Predator.
Yeah, so this movie, I should just say, one of the reasons we're doing this is just a week prior to deciding what it was going to be, we found out about the passing of the late, great Carl Weathers. I think everybody around this table is a huge fan of his, so we thought that we would honor his memory in our own way by, talking about one of his better movies. Maybe his best movie, I don't know.
I'd actually forgotten
He's
about
iconic
that.
in everything he's in.
Yeah, the Rocky franchise, obviously. He's got everyone covered. He's worked with all the big action stars. I guess he is a big action star in his own right.
Well, he's really interesting because, he is a big action star in his own right, but he doesn't have the ego that a lot of other stars have. He will get obliterated by a space monster. He will lose the fight.
Yeah.
He will kind of serve the story, but he has such an impressive presence on screen, and he just has so much charisma that he just serves the movies, whatever he does, and he was great.
That's what I would want. If I ever got into acting, it would be just to get obliterated by space monsters and murdered with squibs popping out of me in the best ways possible.
Oh, there's some alleys just around the corner here where we could go get murdered.
Live action LARPing. Did you guys hear this little trivia factoid that Stan Winston, who did the Predator creature, he was on the plane like sketching it out next to James Cameron, and James Cameron suggested the mandibles, which is the most innovative part of the Predator monster, the coolest part of his look. That's
Fucking James Cameron.
Yeah, the Predator, like, the makeup involved like 6 or 9 or like a whole bunch of like separate servo motors to move the mandibles and give everything like its own articulation.
Oh,
like,
shit.
It's really cool, really complex, and looks awesome.
I was trying to wonder how they would do that, and I just assumed it was like strings off screen or something, but they've actually built servo motors.
Yeah, for like the 1 or 2 shots where it happens, that makes
Right
sense.
at the end.
A couple bits of trivia that I saw that maybe we'll discuss later. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, known for his pranks. There was a lot of pranks on this set, and just like a testosterone-fueled set. Like, everybody is just gigantic, as macho as they could possibly be. And so Arnold Schwarzenegger, he told the wardrobe, people working the wardrobe, to tell Jesse Ventura that Jesse's arms were bigger than Arnie's. Arnie later made a bet with him, hey, why do we measure our biceps and say the loser has to buy the winner a bottle of champagne? And he's like, I'll take you up on that one. What a ham.
I got you, Mr. Universe. You're mine.
Were any of these guys ever Mr. Olympia other than Arnie?
No, Arnie's the only one who was Mr. Olympia and a governor. Jesse Ventura was just a governor, and Sonny Landham lost his gubernatorial bid. Another thing I read, I don't know how I feel about this one, but I guess in order for the production company to insure this movie, they had to have a bodyguard for Sonny Landham. And what I mean is, it wasn't to protect Sonny Landham, but to protect everybody from Sonny Landham, because I guess he had a notoriously short temper and was prone to violent outbursts.
Yeah, he was a drinker and an angry, large, scary man.
Yeah.
Not a nice guy by all accounts. He was a wingnut politically in his later life. And
Interesting.
yeah, welcome back to the pod, though, Sonny Landham.
Yeah.
Great in this fucking movie, and he plays Billy.
Billy, he's the tracker, like the best reconnaissance person on Arnie's squad. I don't know if they have a cool name like the BAM crew in a Robowar, but they're just a bunch of badasses. And
Yeah,
That was
he's
the
the
one
stereotypical Native American guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he's fucking good.
He's a badass, and he's,
As he kind of was in 48 Hours, the previous movie we watched him in on the High and Low podcast. He was total psycho in 48 Hours too. He was like that. He is basically a real life version of his 48 Hours character, where he's just he could pull a knife on you after he's had a few drinks. Who knows?
I would like to see him fight Arnie and Weathers and fucking Ventura. The 3-on-1, man.
Guaranteed he wins.
Landham? Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
he fights dirty.
Yeah.
I fight dirty!
Those guys are all about the glamour muscles. I'll put you in a fucking trash can, Ventura! Sonny Landham.
Like Sonny Landham.
Just morphed into Nick Nolte, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has like a bodybuilder's physique where everything's like perfectly sculpted, and Jesse Ventura is just like big, and Carl Weathers is like chiseled. But Sonny Landham looks like he like was a longshoreman or like worked as like a farmer. So he's just got like that like really solid torso. Like, he's not as defined, but he's like still super muscular.
He looks like the kind of guy that like does those strongman competitions where they like push barrels around and like chop wood and stuff. Like, that's real muscles. Dude's scary.
But this movie's just jam-packed with people who have so much screen presence, and everybody just has such a unique look and character. Like, the movie goes along at just like an incredibly fast pace, but you get to know everybody along the way and everybody's kind of character traits and everything. It's awesome.
And they're all distinct enough from each other. Yeah, it only takes like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue here and there for, Bill Duke's character is especially friendly with Jesse Ventura's character. He's the most emotional when something happens to him, and just these little lines here and there that distinguish this mob of mercenaries who are all dressed in camo patterns, and they've all got their own little weird trait. Like, Bill Dukes will shave his face with the razor. That pops up like almost a nervous tick throughout the movie a few times.
That dry shave, I don't know how his skin looks so good.
Yeah.
I guess you can call it a dry shave. That guy's just pouring buckets of sweat all over the place.
They're all pretty damp.
Apparently the shooting was a nightmare. Everybody got food sickness except for Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is just like, he's a tree, so he doesn't get sick. John McTiernan didn't eat the food, so he didn't get sick, but everybody else was violently ill.
I suspect he's the one
What happened to the Schwarzenegger wives? I don't remember. Bill Duke, also a great American filmmaker in his own right.
Great actor, great director.
Shane Black, of course, is in this movie.
Great writer, great director.
They hired him on because he had written Lethal Weapon at that point. They basically wanted him to do a big punch-up on the Predator movie, but...
Makes sense. He's not credited as a writer, but, like, his fingerprints are all over the script. I mean...
One article I was reading was saying that's why they killed him off so early in the movie. Spoilers, he does get killed because they wanted him to focus on the writing, and he didn't really want to. He was like, I was hired for an actor as on this project. Like, kill him off. Kill him off. So, yeah, I don't know what the extent of his involvement was. There was rewrites of the script. It was originally titled Hunter.
Not as
separate.
good.
Yeah, Predator has a better ring to it.
I'm not sure. He probably did a lot of work at the line level, just kind of punching up little bits and pieces. I don't know if he did too much work on the overall nuts and bolts, but I don't know.
Those pussy jokes and, like, those homophobic jokes, like, nobody does them like Shane Black.
I watched this on the DVD. It's one of those really bare bones DVDs. It's just got scene selection, trailer, and play movie. And like the trailer, it was kind of interesting. It almost made it sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Predator. It's like a creature from the stars. It knows only violence. It really likes bloodshed. Blah, blah, blah. But only one man can stop it. He is the ultimate warrior. The ultimate soldier. Only he can embody the spirit of the Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Predator.
That's a good trailer, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was coming hot off of Terminator and then Commando, and people are like, oh, maybe he's doing like another Terminator thing where he's a fucking...
And it did make me reevaluate the entire title, because I always think it's almost like, I think the creature's name is Predator. I'm like, yeah, there's Predator. He's getting him. Good. I guess everyone in the movie is kind of a predator, and that's the Predator's whole thing, is he only goes after other predators. Like, he won't attack a guy who doesn't have a gun.
What happens when you put 7 apex predators in a jungle together?
Yeah, who's the real predator?
Only one comes out alive.
As soon as they stop being hunted, they're all predators. As soon as fucking Hawkins eats shit.
Yeah, he's just there for a laugh. But even him, like, as the odd man out, he still looks like he could be some sort of commando something or other, whereas you look at this other movie, Robowar, I've seen like half the cast of Robowar shooting pool at the local bar on like a Friday night type of thing. Like,
yeah.
Sure, I don't want to pick a fight with them, but I'm not sending them in to overthrow a government.
Whoever they could round up.
I guess one final thing to say off the top is John McTiernan directed this. This was right before Die Hard. Yeah, one of the great action directors of all time. Everybody is in here at the top of their game making one of the best action movies ever.
The Mount Olympus of action greats all gathered together in one movie. Amazing. Even got the James Cameron influence from the side, talking to Stan Winston there. It's almost like a Terminator thing.
They called me up to kind of punch the script up, but I was a bit busy doing Rocky 4, so I couldn't do it.
That's why Carl Weathers had to die in the movie. Go to Predator.
Yeah, see, in the original script, Dylan was gonna make it through, but I said no. Carl Weathers, he has to lose. He has to go down every time.
Yeah, you can't beat Rocky and live. Nobody beats Rocky.
If Carl Weathers lives, that means that the Predator could be Rocky, and I don't see that happening. I guess one of the ideas behind this movie, at the very, like, kind of like the germ of the idea, started when somebody was kind of talking and saying, they were actually talking about Rocky and said the only thing Rocky hasn't fought is E.T.
Interesting.
Like, hey, what if there was an alien fighting a beefcake?
And I think they picked the better beefcake for the job, frankly.
So
we get a spaceship and it fucking looks cool, this little miniature zooming across the screen.
That's the Predator design. It'll pop up in the Predator movies. It's kind of like I have no idea. It's not an H.R. Giger type thing, though. It's got its distinct look.
It doesn't have enough phalluses.
Yeah. It looks more like a shuttle from, like, Star Trek.
Yeah, like you kind of get the impression that maybe the mothership or something like that might just be off screen and they're just sending out a little pod, a little solo unit.
Yeah, like what R2-D2 and C-3PO, that gets kind of launched out of this thing. And presumably the Predator's in it, and when they go to Tatooine.
How would they fare against the Predator?
R2-D2 would light the motherfucker up.
Yeah, C-3PO would fall in mud right at the beginning, so the Predator would be like, bzz, bzz, can't see him.
It would be
R2, I told my wife, her pussy is so big. Her pussy is so big. Get it, R2? It's an echo.
So the spaceship, and then that's kind of all we see of that. We don't see where it lands or anything. Then we just cut to a helicopter coming in. This crew lands, and they all just kind of like pour out. Big guys, everybody that we've mentioned. And one guy stands back, is just sitting back, and he just lights a stogie in the back of the helicopter.
He looks so badass.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger
got his shades on and like the hat.
He's never looked more cut. Like he's like he actually like lost weight to do this role. Like usually like he's always looked muscular and stuff, but this he's like lean and mean looking, and he's got some like I don't know, like a 10 o'clock shadow. It's like in
a movie full of badasses, they had to find ways to make him look like the coolest one, and they totally succeed.
He looks the best he's ever looked.
Well, and they do that. So like they go in. Arnie goes into this kind of like smoky, dark lit canteen. Carl Weathers comes over. He's like, "What are we doing here? What are we doing here?" And then
this cabinet minister, does he always travel on the wrong side of the border? Why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
The infamous arm clasping scene. It's probably the most known scene from this movie. Even if you've never seen this movie, you probably are familiar with the Arnie.
It's a meme now. Like
bulging biceps, gripping each other. They're both.
It's beautiful. It's so inspired.
It's half handshake, but they're also trying to prove which is the stronger bodybuilder. Arnie, of course, wins.
They got you pushing too many pencils down at the CIA.
Dylan used to be Spec Ops or whatever Arnie is, but now he's just a CIA pencil pusher.
Yeah, they did time and nom
bitch.
together. But that's just like one of the ways that they just show that Arnold Schwarzenegger's the fucking best out of all these guys. He's the he is the leader. Everybody looks up to him with such reverence. He commands the whole squad. He's like the strongest. He has the best senses.
Instincts, yeah.
Like, and also he knows the strength of all of his crew. Like like there's such a good unit in this. They all work together so well.
Yeah. When I was watching this, I was like, these guys probably at least talked to an actual soldier, maybe even did a couple days of basic training to learn these moves, compared to Robowar, where the leader in that and the military tactics in that are so bad. His go-to line in Robowar is just like, blood, take front, whoever, take rear guard. And then he says that 5 times. It almost becomes his catchphrase throughout that movie. But Arnie's given like the special ops, like silent hand signals, like you two over there. And
if I do the spread, we move.
So cool.
So cool. So formative to me as a young boy.
Yeah.
Playing pretend out in the bushes.
You've been overthrowing governments in the deep jungle ever since.
Yeah, we had to fish Luke out of Guatemala for this episode. No comment on what he was doing there.
I don't think they ever actually say what country they're in this.
Ambiguously Central America.
Yeah. They're Spanish-speaking country. It's in the jungle. There's some hints, but they wisely probably never actually go there. And
That's
give a
fine.
country
It's
name.
that same shithole from the movie Sorcerer, probably. It's the worst place in Central America.
Dutch, we got to clear a bridge, a wood bridge, so a truck can drive over it.
Why don't you use the regular army?
Yeah, so they get the briefing. So, like, what is the mission? They need to go and they need to rescue
These hostages.
some hostages.
Supposedly
From some guerrilla rebels or something.
Yeah, there's supposed to be like a cabinet member. One of the president's cabinet members was there doing some special business in South America, and he's been captured or something. But
Is it an American?
yeah,
Okay.
They thought the helicopter crash.
Yeah, I never pay much attention to this aspect of the plot because, frankly, it doesn't fucking matter.
It's kind of like the Escape from New York plot, not with the president, but where like a government official crash lands behind enemy lines somewhere, and then badass protagonist has to go in and save the day.
Oh, wow. Did somebody say behind enemy lines?
Oh, and Wilson.
I just dropped in to do your podcast.
Heard you're looking for a real military badass. Wow, look at these guys. You work out?
Wow. Yeah, wow. Good for you. I thought about working out. I just get a little tired.
He wouldn't last 10 seconds against the Predator.
Kind of thought I'd have a veggie sandwich and smoke a J instead.
So they have their marching orders. Cut to Long Tall Sally as they're helicoptering in over the jungle, and we get a little intro to all of the cast of characters. We get to see a little bit about who everybody is and what their personalities are.
So badass. They're all bathed in the red light. They've got the jump light in there, and they've all got their little quirks. Bill Duke's doing the shaving thing. Jesse Ventura's
He's chewing the tobacco.
He's like, he puts like a baseball-sized dip into his mouth and just starts chewing it. Offers
Have
around.
some. This shit'll make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus like me.
Why don't you put this up your sore ass?
Yeah, Jesse Ventura is Blaine. Yeah, Hawkins, that's Shane Black. What's this joke he's telling here? I want a little pussy.
And she said, me too, but mine's as big as a house.
Billy, yeah, he keeps bugging Billy. Hey, Billy, because pussy's as big as a house, and Billy's just fucking stone-faced. He's not giving it to him. No laugh.
Hawkins is working on his tight 5. He's going to go to the Laugh Factory after this mission.
Yeah.
He's workshopping it. Now he knows it doesn't work with that kind of audience.
Billy's the best person to workshop with because that guy's as stoic as they come. If you can make him laugh, you know that you're going to just fucking slay. Yeah, Sonny Lanham, he's Billy. He's not much of a laugher.
And we get Chavez. They call him Poncho.
Jorge Poncho Ramirez.
I don't know if that's a very politically correct nickname for him, but we'll just call him Poncho because that's what everybody calls him.
These are special forces guys. They've got different politics.
Like pretty much everybody has credited full name and rank. For the most part, you just hear them by their nicknames.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch.
I think that's everybody. Oh, and of course, Carl Weathers is Dylan.
He's going along with them on the mission, Carl Weathers.
What's all this wee business?
Yeah, they're like, we work alone, General. You know, he's the CIA guy directing the mission, so he has to go with them, and the crew doesn't really like him. Jesse Ventura spits the gob of chewing tobacco on his boot, just showing him they're not too pleased to have him along for the ride.
Mac especially doesn't trust him.
I don't know. Yeah, you got to have a pretty stacked cast if you don't want Carl Weathers to help you like take down some people in a jungle or something like that.
They're a tight group, man.
That's true.
They know their place, and that any person who's out of place is gonna fuck them up and potentially risk their lives. And they work to keep each other alive.
They don't even need to
fucking
speak
love
to
how
each
pro
other.
these guys are.
They're just like looking in each other's eyes. And
Yeah.
They're all having a great time, and then as soon as the jump light goes on, it's go time. They have their game faces on.
they rappel out of the helicopter. I had forgotten this part. I remembered them parachuting, but no, they just straight up rappel right down into the foliage of the jungle.
Rambo
the
2 was the parachuting. Went catastrophically wrong.
Yeah, way smarter to rappel.
Yeah.
I think.
You got ropes.
In Rambo 2, it was a plane. I don't know if people rappel out of planes.
So yeah, the jungle, it looks so steamy. Everything about the cinematography in this movie looks amazing, especially because I watched this just after Robowar, which looks like shit. You just feel the canopy of the jungle pressing down on you. Everything looks so hot.
Dude, I got
oppressive.
diarrhea just watching this. Like, I felt like I was
man.
there.
Totally, it just draws you right in.
This definitely stuck out the most to me as, oh, okay, this is what a AAA movie looks like compared to a Z movie like Robowar. It's just you feel cloistered into this jungle. It's really claustrophobic.
Yeah.
They play the tension up so well, but we don't have any of that yet. Like, it's a little bit tense, but it's mostly just like kind of like fast paced. They have a mission to do. They gotta do it. Kind of while they're kind of making their way through the jungle, every so often you'll kind of get like a bit of a POV shot, like you're looking through the eyes of the predator or something like that. Like, you know that something's amiss. You saw an alien ship crash land somewhere. You know that something is going on here, but you don't really know what. But these guys, they're just all business. They gotta go extract the hostages.
Before long, they find a dropped plane. They figure out it's taken out by a heat seeker. Dutch is like, that's pretty sophisticated for a bunch of mountain boys. So, like, now they already know something's fishy, something's amiss. And, like, as far as, like, the cinematography goes, like, you can tell there's danger lurking just outside the frame. And it just kind of always feels like that. Predator's already lurking around.
They know Dylan has been lying to them because these guerrillas they're going after don't have this kind of technology. And
They find 6 men wearing U.S. issue army boots in the helicopter.
yeah, and it's like, okay, there weren't supposed to be soldiers here. We're on the wrong side of the border.
And so they're kind of like making their way in. Billy, he's the tracker, and Sonny Lanham just fucking, he's so good. At one point, he takes his machete out or his big ass knife, whatever it is, and he just cuts open a vine and starts drinking out of it. And he just has like such a wily expression. He's just like, he knows something's amiss. And he's just kind of like looking around. It looks so good.
Drinking that sweet vine milk.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, his senses are going crazy. He throws the dog tags to Dutch. Mac, cut him down. I knew these men. They were Green Berets out of Fort Bragg.
But yeah, you saw Billy do a CSI crime scene investigation moment earlier when they came across the crashed helicopter, and I think that's where they saw the bullets all over the ground, and he's kind of like, doesn't make sense because they were shooting up into the trees from all directions, like not a coordinated attack, like something they couldn't see.
They were ambushed.
Yeah,
Shooting in all directions.
that'll actually
Pretty good
pop
Sonny
up
Landham.
later.
Couldn't find a single track.
It really takes them a long time to figure out that, like, oh, what if they're walking through this thick, like, it's walking through the trees. These trees that, like, one branch goes to the other, and you can just, we've all seen
Yeah.
Tarzan. We know how people can go around a tree if they want to.
That movie's facts.
It's super interesting because there's like 3 scenes throughout this movie where it's just them setting up weird traps to try to go after the predator, but each time they're doing it, they've learned a new piece of information about the predator. So the first time they're just like putting claymores all over the ground, and the predator gets into their camp without even setting off any of the traps, and then they're like, okay. So then they're setting up traps to go after a guy who's coming from above in the trees, and the predator falls for that a little bit. Then he wises up, and then the third time it's just Dutch setting up all these traps against the predator, and now he knows the predator can only see heat. He knows the predator lives in the trees, and each time the traps are set up a little different to go after the new piece of information they've gotten.
It's clean screenwriting.
The first time that we do actually like get the predator vision and all that stuff, it's like 20 minutes in, so you've had enough.
So much better than Omega 1 vision.
Yeah, and the predator especially, you get to see through his vision. Everything's all distorted, and you get...
And that's all you see for quite some time.
Great. You know what's better than seeing some, like...
a rubber suit monster?
Yeah, like somebody who escaped from a sex dungeon running through a jungle is just not seeing it and, like, putting the pieces together in your mind.
Plus, it just must have been torture to wear that predator suit in that jungle. I'm sure he was almost dead every day just from dehydration, sweating in that suit.
I don't know if I read the trivia on it, on the predator suit correctly or not. I think it weighed 200 pounds.
Good God.
The guy who played it, I can't remember. I'll bring his name up. Kevin Peter Hall. Yeah. He's 7'2", so like I'm sure just his day-to-day clothes weigh like 50 pounds. But
he's a big guy. Yeah, originally it was Jean-Claude Van Damme they had coming in there, and he is 5'9", and he looked like a fucking shrimp next to the cast, and he couldn't handle it in the suit, and frankly he wanted his face on the screen.
Yeah.
As would we all.
So they gave him the boot, and they gave the role to the 7'2" helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
It's a good call because he's
initially,
super imposing.
They wanted him to be like agile, like a ninja, like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but then they're like, this doesn't quite work against all these like living trees that we've cast as the special forces team.
I have too much shit on me. I can't move. I have too much shit on me.
It's too fucking hot. The chin kills.
Can't do the splits.
The chin kills? I don't want to be around anymore.
Oh, what do you mean you don't want to be around anymore?
Like you don't want to be alive?
So they got him out of there.
I can see that. I'm glad we don't have a high-kicking predator.
No, because when they do finally have the big showdown, not many people can dwarf Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's just so gigantic. But they found the guy, and they put him in the suit that makes Arnold Schwarzenegger look like a fucking ragdoll next to this thing.
Tosses him around like nothing. When he finally gets to him.
Bill Duke, that's Mac, he takes Dylan aside, and he gives him a good warning. You're ghosting us, motherfucker. I don't care who you are in the world. You give our position one more time, I'll bleed you. Real quiet.
Dylan fucked up, though. He, like, knocked over a pile of logs down a hill while they're trying to creep through the jungle all quiet.
Yeah. This is why they didn't want fucking Dylan there, like I was explaining.
He gets up, he looks around, like, did anyone see that? Did anyone see that? And yeah, Bill Duke just, like, pops out of the shadows. He does that a couple times. This is a stealthy team, a genuine stealthy team.
I think Bill Duke's the stealthiest one. Like, he's the one who's gonna, like, sneak up right behind somebody and, yeah, like, slit their throat or something like that.
Bill Duke even gets the drop on the predator first, too. He, like, spies him.
That's a good point, yeah.
He is the sneakiest one.
That's another, again, it's like they actually talked to an army guy for one day.
They trained for a couple weeks.
Did they?
Like, doing military training. Yeah.
Nothing like that pops up in Robowar.
Another funny prank they did on the movie is one morning Jesse Ventura went to the gym a little earlier and doused himself in a bottle of water to make it look like he was working out way earlier. So then everybody started showing up to the gym even earlier to work out before the body.
Man, these are pranks that only this cast could play on each other. No other cast in history.
Could you imagine one of us trying to pull that prank on one of us?
Like, what's wrong with that guy? Why'd he get up so early?
What are you doing? I'm lifting weights. What? Why?
Where are you going to take him? No, you just put him down again.
Suit yourself.
I don't follow.
I'll just leave him there. That seems like...
So Dutch has eyes on the base. That's where they got the hostages. He sees them pull one hostage aside and just cap them.
Yeah, he knows they got to move fast now because the entire reason they're there is to get these hostages. So he's like, he gives the silent signal to his boys and they all slither down to him. Like they're slithering down through the trees. They've all been positioned around this base.
You guys get the platform and you two go down here into this area, and once you've done that, I'll get the fuel cells. And
they know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
This like 6'10" Sasquatch somehow sneaks around the base, loading charges everywhere.
Yeah. Bill Duke and Sonny Landham, I think they're the ones who tag team a pretty cool stealth kill where they go to like a machine gun nest and Bill Duke's making a bird noise like and the guy peeks over, and then he just gets stabbed right in the throat and pulled down, and
Wicked.
it's a dual-pronged attack.
Yeah. And on the way over, they're just like cutting all the tripwires so then everybody can just kind of get attack unimpeded and,
Oh, yeah.
so they don't have to worry about getting blowed up in the face real good.
Jesse Ventura almost goes through one, but he spots it at the last minute. Their instincts are so good. Earlier, they were showing Shane Black's cool instincts on the helicopter. Somebody just like threw a ball of tape at him when he wasn't looking, and he just like catches it out of midair. Like these guys are prime warriors.
And they can catch a ball.
out of thin air.
Well, he wasn't even paying attention.
He was reading a comic.
He was reading a comic. He was rewriting his jokes. Everybody's being all quiet. And then Arnie goes in and he decides now's the time to kick things into high gear.
They're waiting for the signal.
Which is him throwing a truck, essentially. He lifts a whole truck up and then just
he
launches it down a hill.
Put, like a bomb on it first. Yeah.
He's doing the Barbarian Brothers move here, just lifting a vehicle and tossing it into a hut.
Who do you think taught him? They must have worked out with Arnold.
I bet all these guys worked out on Venice Beach at the
Yeah.
Gold's Gym there. I think that was the famous bodybuilder place in Pumping Iron where Arnie and all the huge guys work out.
Yeah. Arnie, me,
The
all
other guy.
cool, huge guys. The Barbarian Brothers. So they're just lighting everybody up.
Yeah.
That truck goes kaboom, and
There's people on fire. Jesse Ventura has a minigun.
Arnie does the triple explosion here because he throws the truck and that explodes. Then he primes a grenade and throws that and that explodes. Then he launches the grenade out of his rifle and that explodes. So I think they tally up how many people they kill here, and it's like 32. Bill Duke says it later. He's like 32 guys. We took out 32 guys, didn't get a scratch, but the Predator's after us. And
freeing hostages as intricate and precise as a well-played game of chess. They just lay waste to this fucking...
Dutch, you don't know where the hostages are. Sure I do. They're here and here and here and here. There's some up on that branch over there.
The sound effects are so fucking good. That minigun, that scream on that fucking thing when it goes. Oh, man, like... Even with the crummy TV speakers I'm watching out of, like, it was shaking my bones.
Yeah, it's great. And Arnie's just quipping left and right here. He throws a knife through somebody's chest and they stick to a wall. And he's like, stick around. And just bursts in.
gotta get the Arnie lines in.
Yeah, then he breaks down a door. Knock, knock. Shoots some more dudes.
Again, he doesn't look to see who's in the room. He just kills everybody.
Yeah.
I like how before he's like, we're not assassins.
Yeah.
We're not just going to go in there and just be killers. And then he's taking so much relish. Knock, knock. Just blasting dudes.
They definitely got madder earlier when they found that the Green Beret from Fort Bragg's body. Then they're like, okay, these guys are killing American soldiers, so now our not assassin mandate might be out the window.
Yeah, fair enough. Now let's do some mass murder.
So, needless to say, it's no surprise at all that there's only one survivor after this massacre.
I'm pretty sure Arnie grabs her and he's like, where are the hostages at this point?
I'm the only one.
Yeah, he smashes this chick in the head with a rifle, but from behind, and then turns her around. It's like, oh, it's a sexy lady. Right on.
Yeah, it's a bit of the opposite though in this one compared to Robowar. In Robowar, the corpo guy wants to leave the beautiful blonde girl behind, but the main hero is like, no, we're bringing her. In this one, Arnie's like, we can't bring her; she'll jeopardize the mission. But Dylan's like, we got to. She could have intelligence. We're bringing her with us.
You're right. Robowar is a totally original movie.
It's 180 different.
It's the
Do you see, Your Honor? Very different scripts.
just underscores on a piece of paper. Very different. So one of the things about this movie that just makes it so brilliant on like a screenwriting level is this whole action sequence. It goes on, and it would be the climax in any other movie. And what's cool about it is it actually is the climax of the movie that everybody here thinks that they're in. They think they're on like some sort of, their secret ops rescue mission, like this is it. And then, Jesse looks at his watch like, oh, but there's still like another hour and 20 minutes left in this movie. What's going to happen? And then it turns out that the rest of the movies, they're being hunted. It's like, it's such a cool turn because you want the big action set piece, you get that out of the way, and then it's just like silent tension.
They discover more about how Dylan's been lying to them. They get one of the hostages' bodies. Bill Duke's giving the report.
You set us up!
It wasn't a cabinet member for the president. It was like a undercover CIA agent or something, and a couple of the bodies here were Russian guys, so the Russians are involved.
Russian military advisors. I knew it was the Russians.
They haven't been told nothing. Dylan, he's like, you're a bunch of expendable soldiers. You get it. You know the drill by now. And
My men are not expendable.
That'll be later. Yeah.
Hey, that's where I got the idea for my movie. It's expendable. I just gotta have you guys in there. Jean-Claude, you come back.
lawsuit number 2.
Ani, you gotta watch out when you're throwing those grenades. I'm just off scene. I'm hoping that McTiernan's gonna put me in for a scene.
People say Dutch is pretty iconic, but I think Barney Ross is who people really want to see in those Expendables movies.
Rambo would be right at home here. This is the kind of jungle he thrives in, too.
He would work great with this squad.
Yeah,
for sure.
These could very well be some of the men he worked with in Nam.
Here we also find out some of the people who were killed, the American soldiers were killed, actually worked for Dylan beforehand. They were Carl Weathers guys, and so it's personal for him too. He really wants to get to the bottom of this. So even though he's like a stuffed shirt, he's got some skin in the game for sure.
And no one's none too pleased with Dylan. This is where Bill Duke is like, come here. And Dylan walks over, and then Bill Duke's like, turn around. Takes out his knife, puts it into Carl Weathers' shoulder. There was a scorpion on there, so he's kind of helping him out, but also kind of being like, I want to stab you. It's another bicep grip move. Little alpha dog move he pulls.
They're alpha dogging each other.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Billy, get us away out of this hole. The only way out is that valley to the east. I wouldn't waste that on a broke dick dog. I don't know what he means by that. So they take the valley to the east, but he wouldn't waste it on it?
There's tons of great turns of phrases like that. When Jesse Ventura is shooting at a guy in like a sniper nest when they're attacking the village, he's like, he's dug in harder than a Alabama tick.
Yeah, and Mac's like, you're hit, you're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
So cool.
Just the most quotable movie.
So sweet.
And the whole time, Predator's just off in the background, and he's got his little pad and paper out, and he's gonna hit up the Laugh Factory before.
Yeah, he's a joke stealer.
Yeah.
He's gonna Carlos Mencia the whole crew, and he's gonna go and just slay.
He steals the second pussy joke.
Yes.
About it.
Hey, Billy. Hey, I says to my wife, geez, you got a big pussy. Geez, you got a big pussy. And she says, why'd you say it twice? I said, I didn't. It was an echo. And that's when Billy turns around.
Just this little bit of a smile cracks on his face.
Then he breaks into the big laugh.
Yeah, this one actually got him. I wonder if Predator thought that was like an aggressive call or something. He doesn't understand laughter. He's like, oh, this one's an aggressive human.
Yeah, maybe that's what really ticked him off.
He's doing a war call.
Yeah, so we see the Predator surveying that, and he's checking out their bodies, and he's replaying Billy's laugh in his head. You said that in the trivia you can hear the Predator trying to mimic the laugh.
Yeah, so they say. I listened to it before we recorded. Yeah, I think a little bit, but
dubious.
But Billy kind of gets a little spooked. He's looking off in the trees, and something's got his hackles on edge.
He's got a bit of a sixth sense, and like if you are looking for the Predator, you could see him. He's got that optical illusion camo. He just kind of bends the light around him, but it like kind of looks weird when he's moving.
Yeah, everybody's getting a little spooked at this point. Yeah, Mac's like, I've seen some badass bush before, but nothing like this. I hear ya. Makes Cambodia look like Kansas. You lose it here, you're in a world of hurt. And yeah, Billy's been acting squirrely all morning. It's that damn nose of his. It's weird.
Well, Billy's just like standing off in like a little meadow, sort of like a little opening in the trees, and he's just like staring off in the distance. And as soon as like something's up with Billy, everybody knows they gotta chill out for a second. So they're just kind of like, so then Dutch comes up just to kind of see what's going on with him. And just Sonny Landham just gives him like the most terrified expression. Like he doesn't hear him when he's talking. He's like, Billy, what's wrong with you, Billy?
This happens a couple times with him and then Jesse Ventura, or no, Bill Duke sees it later, and he's got the same 1,000-yard stare. And whoever sees the Predator's invisible form is kind of all freaked out.
Well, it's like nothing they've ever seen before, and they don't know it's an alien yet. They probably just think it's the Russians, but even still. And so Billy's like, there's something in the trees. They're all just kind of looking. They're looking.
The woman, Anna, we learn her name is, I think maybe a little later.
Yeah.
She tries to get away from Dylan. She gets chased down by Hawkins, and as he grabs her, he gets just fucking knifed. The Predator comes out of the bushes, drags his ass away, right?
Drags him off into the foliage, and she's like left shivering and shaking on the ground. The rest of the crew run after the pair of them, and she's there all covered in blood. They're like, whoa, it's not her blood. Whoa, what happened to Poncho? Or who is it? It's not Poncho.
Hawkins. It was Shane Black.
Yeah.
That's the last time we'll hear a
That's
pussy
right.
joke in this movie.
He's out of
Too
here.
bad. Did you find Hawkins? I can't tell.
They're going through the foliage. His pack is there. It's a trail of blood. There's like a trail of his gear and stuff, but they don't actually see his body at that point.
And they're like, ask her, what happened? The jungle just came alive and took him. And Dutch is like, well, why didn't they take his radio, his weapon?
Yeah, if it was a gorilla,
Why did she escape?
Dylan's so convinced, like, there's no supernatural stuff. Like, throughout the movie, he's like, it's just 3 gorillas out in the woods. There's no predator stalking us. And, like, if it's a gorilla, why not take his radio? And,
Which makes sense.
yeah.
These guys are fucking smart.
yeah, the only concept she could come up with is that the jungle came alive and took him.
Carl Weathers like, that's not what she said. What she said doesn't make any sense. She's just talking a bunch of nonsense.
Which is also true. Jungle doesn't come alive.
That's true. Well, I mean, metaphorically, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't realize that Anna was a poet the whole time.
Yeah, they don't even know she speaks English at that point.
Yeah, she hides that pretty well. She's doing the classic, no habla inglés.
Yeah.
Did she even say that? Or like, did they even ask her? Because they just kind of like,
They've got 2 Spanish speakers in the group. Poncho speaks to her sometimes, and Dylan also knows Spanish and speaks to her. That's how they're communicating. Whether they're like, ask her why this happened now, and then they're like, oh, okay, they have to do the translation thing.
And then she just speaks perfect English.
Yeah.
oh, you see, I summered in Ann Arbor, and I went to Princeton. Finishing school, then Princeton, and then Yale for my graduate degree.
They made a few.
I'm
ignorant-
actually from Long Island. So what took Hawkins? Okay. So
She's
yeah,
got the
before
Rosie Perez Brooklyn accent going on.
Hey, the trees just came alive and took him.
so before long we got
His guts are drooping like a pizza pie.
It's like a good tomato sauce, gravy.
Guys, we talked about this. No more Italian accents. The Italian Anti-Defamation League is already after us, and they're mobbed up. Look out.
It's me, Tony Pizza. I'm a hunter the predator.
I'm gonna make a predator a pie. so juicy, so delicious. He's gonna say, "Mamma mia."
They needed an Italian guy on the crew. I guess they got enough of that in Robowar. Enough Italian.
Yeah. We have Italian Vincent Don directing the next film. It's such a silly pseudonym.
Don't worry. Italy's gonna remake this movie in a year, and there'll be plenty of representation.
Yeah.
So, in short order,
Blaine is standing there and he's got the big minigun and he's, come on in, you fuckers. Come on in, all painless is waiting.
that's what he calls his minigun. It's a pretty sweet name.
I wouldn't mind being taken out by it. Feel like that would be pretty painless.
I think it would be better than being taken out by a predator and having my spine ripped out.
Yeah, and so Blaine's standing there and the predator just pops up behind him and just shoots his chest out.
Blown.
Yeah.
Lit up
Clean
like
through.
a Christmas tree.
This
Yeah.
is the first time he uses his plasma blast that comes out of his shoulder-mounted cannon. Like just a blue plasma ball comes down and it blows through Jesse Ventura. They find him. They're like, this is a really weird weapon wound. It's cauterized. It's sealed itself. It must have come from something extremely hot. His body's steaming. Like,
Yeah, before
Like
they're
a
doing
pizza.
forensics on him, Mac just, as soon as he finds Blaine's been killed, he just loses his mind because he had eyes on that fucking predator thing. Picks up the minigun and just unloads into the jungle, and it's fucking insane. And
Yeah.
everybody else pops up behind him, just fires off every round of ammunition they can.
Squad rules. If somebody starts unloading into the trees, everybody joins in.
yeah, this is the one time they kind of drop that sophisticated military tactic thing, and they're just like, everybody fire into the woods right now. That happens several times in Robowar.
It's bracing and it's fucking passionate how much they're fucking firing off. Bill Duke's acting is so good here. He's just absolutely fucking crazy with rage.
Everybody spends all their bullets, and then all you hear is the whir of the minigun, and Bill Duke just like still has his hand just
He's
firmly
so
on the
freaked.
trigger.
Yeah, it'd be like Mac.
He also has no goddamn idea what's going on because all he saw was the optical camo. So they're trying to ask him, and he's like, I don't know. He's got the 1,000-yard stare from then on out.
He just saw some shit. And in the meantime, it turns out Predator's a bit of a raver. They broke open his glow stick while they were shooting at him. He sheds his like glow-in-the-dark goo all over the tree.
Fluorescent goo.
Here's a little fun
cum.
fact you might
I
not
don't
know about the Predator's blood. Unlike the alien blood, blood. You can, if you drink the predator blood, it gives you longevity and strength.
Says who?
Apparently, I don't know. It was on the Predator's Wikipedia, or not Wikipedia.
Got it from one of those like health YouTube channels or what?
It was from like a
Mr. Beast YouTube channel.
You don't need chemotherapy. You just drink predator blood.
Liver King's new scam.
Oh, right.
I'm on the all predator meat diet.
Drink that predator blood, you'll be good to go.
I'm doing what my ancestors did back when they lived in caves, drinking predator blood.
Here's some more fun facts about Predator you guys might not know.
Okay.
Did you know the Predator's actual alien name is the Yautja? Yautja.
Yacha. Is that because that's what they say whenever they shoot somebody? It's like, yacha.
Like a Greedo, like Yautja. Shoots a laser at Han Solo. They live for 50 to 60 years before they reach maturity, the equivalent of like a human 17-year-old they'd be then. And they have mammary glands.
Sexual maturity. Oh, I was just gonna ask about their sexual reproduction.
Yeah, they've got mammary glands. They got breasts.
How many?
You could. Well, that I'm not sure, but presumably we could drink from them.
They have uteruses.
That I'm not that sure.
Which bathroom do they use?
If it bleeds once a month, you can fuck it.
That's all I know about the Predator.
So if they're like 17 years old, that depends why they're such. Good job, researcher.
Yeah, they're basically
Good job, stab mother.
I got the recon on them. I went in the deep bush like you never seen before and got the recon.
Well, the fact that they're 17 explains why they're such poor losers. Because every time they kind of get one-upped, then it's like, oh, fuck you, I'm gonna teabag your whole block.
Well, they are kind of losers. They're like a big game hunter on Earth, like where they go and hunt some old lion who has no chance of winning, and they've got such superior weapons. Like the Predator's got a plasma gun, he's got knife swords,
And they're invisible.
Yeah,
Like that's a pretty big thing. Although I guess if you had some sort of like IR camera, it'd be better. But yeah, it's not really playing even. But also, then again, like Arnold Schwarzenegger is no ordinary man. So
that's true. He's the ultimate warrior. He must embody the spirit of the Predator.
Ultimate Warrior would have been good in this movie too.
That would have been sweet. Any number of wrestlers. Jesse Ventura was a wrestler.
That's what we needed, is another highly volatile, cokehead, roided out freak on this set.
We've already got the security for Sonny Landham. Might as well get an Ultimate Warrior in there. Any number of wrestlers, really. Iron Sheik.
I'm coming for you, Predator.
The Sheik would be great.
Yeah. You fucking cocksucker. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Fuck him. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Fuck the Predator.
He's not in this movie.
You suck my cock.
Endless stream of obscenities. He's the best.
I love Iron Sheik. I haven't seen him on Twitter in a minute. Maybe he quit. Oh man,
he's
used to
getting
just
up
be
there.
like, "Good morning" and "fuck you." Like every day, he'd be
Thanks,
posting
Iron
stuff
Sheik.
on Twitter.
I hope you have a bad day.
My favorite fucking Twitter follow.
He's sweet. He's a sweet old man.
Totally seems like a sweetheart.
We cut to Predator doing a bit of first aid on himself. You know, he's bleeding, and he's kind of like, this is the first time we see the invisibility come off, so we get to see his hands and stuff like that.
It looks so realistic. It's so cool.
It's pretty
his
sweet.
hands and everything, the whole costume, the tech that pops out of his arms and stuff, like his little kit.
He's got some really sophisticated equipment. He pulls it out and pops it into his leg wound where he got shot with the minigun, and I think it like sutures it up or something like that.
What do you think the Predator brings for lunch kits? Like, do you think he's got some Dunkaroos in there?
Lunchables.
That's probably why he's skinning everyone. He probably eats what he hunts, you know.
No, I think he's a trophy hunter.
He just
That's true.
rips the
But-
spines out and leaves the bodies flayed and hanging from trees and stuff.
I think he might take a little nibble here and then. That's what I think. Yeah, he wants their spines. And
That's the Predator saying he's on the Atkins diet. Leafy greens and proteins only.
Only eats grass-fed, hormone-free people. He can't eat any of these people.
Yeah, those people are not good eating. That's why he's not eating them.
pumped to the gills with roids,
HGH.
everything else.
While this is happening, the Predator sutures his leg together, his wound, closes that up, screams. People can hear it from like the other side of the jungle, and Billy's spooked again. And
Bone chilling.
if Billy's scared, everybody's shitting their pants because, again, this guy is unflappable.
I'm scared, Poncho. There's something out there waiting for us. We're all gonna die.
And it ain't no man. This is where we get one of the first... It's not a full-on Home Alone sequence, but they're digging in. They're kind of like setting their claymores and stuff like that, and they make themselves a little forge so they can kind of wait it out and maybe trap this predator. Mac, he's kind of taken Blaine's death pretty hard. At nighttime, he gets attacked, and he gets the drop on him. He has this knife, and he kills it, and he's stabbing it. Turns out it was just a pig. Just a pig.
Just a pig. That fucking wild boar could have killed him easily.
That thing was
That's
monstrous.
like the most dangerous prey on Earth.
It didn't even look like a pig when they shined the flashlight on it. You're still like, holy shit, that's some kind
Everybody's
of jungle cryptid.
laughing at him like it was a fucking little bunny wabbit or something.
Mac,
that he
you killed a dirty little pig.
It probably is a man killer. It's probably racked up a few kills already, and it's day in the woods.
It's probably what the predator's actually after, and these commandos keep
They're
getting in the way.
interrupting my hunt.
You guys remember that post? I think it was on Twitter some years ago, and somebody like was posting about why you need like these assault rifles with the huge like bump stocks, and they're like 30 to 50 wild hogs.
What do you do when you want your kids to go and play, and then 30 to 50 wild hogs come into your yard?
Yeah, and everybody made fun of it, but like I actually saw a video that went around like this past year, and it was like literally what that guy described. You see fucking pigs running in by the fucking dozens, and these guys are shooting them off. It's like Starship Troopers.
Wild hogs!
Fucking pigs are dangerous, dude.
I think they're one of those invasive species that like nothing can kill once they get into an environment, so they just reproduce like crazy.
I actually think that we're going to be overrun by wild hogs in Alberta here pretty quick. I read last year or the year before
That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
it's a big problem.
Yeah, so
Open
tool
season.
up, tool up, everybody.
Fuck, man, groceries are expensive right now. Like, I'm ready to fucking tool up and go hunting. But like, the odds are pretty even between me and with a 12 gauge and a wild boar. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're gonna need a plasma cannon like the Predator.
Yeah,
if you want to take one of those things out.
Need bigger guns. Need a mini gun.
Oh yeah. Like, is that an actual gun? That seems like the kind of gun that's meant to be mounted to a helicopter or something. But
it is the type of gun that's meant to be mounted on a helicopter, and they made several modifications so Jesse Ventura could use it.
Oh, I thought that's why they call it a minigun. That means it's a full machine gun, but it's capable. It's designed to be carried by somebody. I mean, obviously that somebody has to be.
I guess Rambo does that at the end of Rambo 2. He's shooting in the helicopter, and then when it lands, he like detaches the gun and like walks in to threaten the general or whatever with it.
Hell yeah! What you're gonna need when 30 to 50 feral hogs come running up on our porch.
But again, this just the fact that Mac, with nothing but a knife, was able to just kill this 500-pound boar in pitch black just shows how badass all of these guys are.
And they laugh about it.
Yeah. The boar set off one of the claymore traps on its way into the camp too, so they were all freaked. They thought it was the Predator, but this was their first trap laying session where they don't realize Predator travels by trees yet.
Blaine's body's gone. Dutch cuts Anna's binds.
They're all in it together.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah, this is where they find out that she speaks flawless English.
Yeah.
Because, again, nobody thought to ask.
And she saw the glowing blood, because she saw it earlier, but she didn't tell them because she wasn't buds with them yet. She spills the beans as soon as they let her go.
Yeah, now everybody's realizing that, like, political affiliation, whatever they are outside of this world aside, they all need to work together if they have any chance of surviving, because the Predator took out two of these guys, and it got grazed.
Yeah.
That's it. They talk about how they just emptied all their bullets in and nothing could withstand it.
Nothing alive could have withstood that bullet.
Again, they were just shooting into empty canopy. Like, nobody actually knew what they were shooting at, but still, they would think that something would have happened.
Mac had eyes on him.
Yeah.
That's how he hit him.
This is
at
where
least once, but
Anna's like telling them the legend from her village too. She's like, in my village there's a legend. El Diablo Cazador de Hombre. Only on the hottest years does he pop out, and they say he takes men's skin, and even worse, he takes trophies and stuff like that. It's like, oh shit, building the Predator up even more.
El Diablo Cazador de Hombres.
So sweet.
The demon who makes trophies of man. It's like, wow, she's really helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks for the exposition.
All we had to do was untie her hands.
I'm glad we didn't just knock her unconscious and leave her.
She had a cool monologue to give us.
Now we can cut her loose.
They kind of figure at this point because the Predator, while all this boar stuff is going on, he actually sneaks right into their camp and he steals Jesse Ventura's body to make trophies out of it or whatever. So they're like, how the hell did he get in past all our traps? Oh, he was traveling in the foliage. So now we do our second trap scene where they're setting up the traps so that it'll get him from the trees. They're like just pulling trees down with ropes and tying it down. And I'm not exactly sure the nature of this trap. They're putting nets and stuff into, but they've got a variety of trap going on.
It's the same one the Ewoks used on C-3PO.
Well, actually, the way that Dutch kills the Predator later on is pretty similar to an Ewok trap, too. Just using a big log and dropping it on him.
That's how they take out the ATST walkers.
That's right. Now, everybody watch Star Wars. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
The only one they didn't do is like let a bunch of logs roll down a hill to make Predator like slip on them or something. But
we don't know what these gorillas have. Maybe speeder bikes. Maybe a Sarlacc.
Maybe the Predator is a log rider. We don't know. You do the log rider's waltz, he'll take your woman. Can't have that.
Canada's greatest predator.
Last I heard, the Predator may have had some sort of French accent, but it might have been from Brussels.
Easy to mix up.
Okay, so yeah, they've set all their traps, and here's where we get this. Like, you could cut the tension with a knife, and like everybody's just waiting and scared shitless. Bill Duke's shaving, just doing the dry shave. Shaves so hard he snaps his little Bic razor.
Yeah, cuts into
draws
his face.
just a little bit of blood.
That's how tense it is.
Everyone's fucking losing it. You can hear their assholes just...
Dylan still doesn't believe it, though. Dylan's still like, oh, there's probably two guys in the trees. This girl doesn't know what she's talking about. And so they're waiting for a few minutes, and he's like, what now?
These corporate stooges always have zero imagination.
Yeah.
It's just whatever's on the paper, that's what they go ahead and do. They don't think that it's some sort of extraterrestrial hunter thing, which I don't know if anybody else does, but they're open to the possibility more so.
They know something fucked up's going on.
So Dutch goes out into a clearing to kind of try to lure it out. Again, it's so tense, and he's just waiting, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then you just hear one of their traps go off like right behind him, and you just hear this scream as like the Predator just gets hoisted up with this net into the trees, and then he cuts himself loose, and everybody just starts...
Yeah, the Predator like does a weird squeal thing.
Like, ow! And then like Dylan gets a good look, decides to chase the Predator, and he's like, get everybody to the chopper. And like Dylan actually just like has a hero moment and tells everybody to fucking leave.
The Predators, they've designed his sound. It's one of those things where they got like an elephant squeal and like alligator noises and stuff like that. It's a laundry list of animals.
That's classic Stan Winston. Like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park was like a dog and a fucking tiger and an elephant and all that.
Sounds pretty cool.
It's inhuman sound. Bill Duke's there. He draws Dylan into cover, and they have eyes on the Predator, and Duke's just losing his mind. He's like, long tall Sally. She's built sweet. She's got everything that Uncle John needs. I'm going to have me some fun. I'm going to have me some fun. I'm going to have me some fun. He has so many good lines.
Yeah, he's just selling it. And so then he tells Dylan to just fuck right off, because like this is personal, and Dylan's like, it's personal for me too. Like it killed my squad. We're going to take it out together. You go this way, I go this way. We'll do a pincer. We'll take him out.
Son of a bitch, you nail him.
Yeah, they split off into groups here. Dutch and the girl, and Poncho, I think he was wounded.
He gets a pretty bad case of a log to the chest right around here, and he's wounded, but he can make it.
Yeah, Bill Duke and Dylan, Carl Weathers, he's going after the Predator, and Bill Duke is hiding like under a log or something, and over here. And that's where they have their little team-up moment.
Yeah, the Predator has like a talk boy.
Yeah.
But he'd already you just like see Bill Duke, and he's Max sitting there, and he's got the reticle all of a sudden just appears on his head.
Credit card, head blown off. You got it.
Yeah, so Mac gets his head blown off. The fucking screen like explodes with the blood splattering on the camera lens.
Awesome.
Pretty sweet.
Fun.
It's so cool because like he's crawling under some roots, and he's just like, he thinks he has it, and then just like the Predator just right on top of him.
And this is the first time I think you see the Predator's triangle laser thing. That's kind of a signature in all the Predator movies going forward.
I really like how they roll out all the Predator's gadgets and gear throughout the movie.
And one thing I don't like, sorry, I know you like the comics and stuff, Mitch, but
I've never
like
read
how
them,
mysterious
but
I like how mysterious the Predator is. I like just getting those little teases of like what he can do. I don't want to know what
that's something you can never get
what
back
his culture
again.
is.
What was the Predator like when he was a boy?
I don't want to know how we fucks.
No, in a perfect world,
I do.
I
Well, I mean, like how good he is is at it, I want to know, but like I don't want to actually know how physically he does do the deed.
This
Does
movie
that
could have
make
used
sense?
a 10-minute sex predator sex scene.
Like, how does he perform? That's what I mean.
I imagine him to be a tender lover.
So, yeah.
But, in a perfect world, the franchise ends on the first movie. And,
Pretty much. This movie's perfect.
yeah. And it's always a mystery. And
So one thing the franchise does well, I think, is nothing's tied into the other ones. The lore of the Predator kind of lives on. Like in Predator 2, Gary Busey kind of gives a rundown about, I heard back in the rainforest, 6 commandos died, and then a nuclear bomb went off and detonated the area the size of 3 city blocks or whatever. Like you hear stories like that along the way, but there's never any legacy characters coming along. It's like one person survives and they're happy to do it, which is fine too, because like every movie, it's a different Predator too.
I like all the Predator movies, but I'd also just be happy if there was just one and we know nothing. The less we know about the Predator, I think is better.
oh yeah, since they
That's all
started the ball rolling, might as well go whole hog. Like pump one out every year, make 1 million comics, go for it.
More comics.
So Predator, he's using the talk boy. He's playing back Mac's voice. Over here. And he's fucking with Dylan. That's really sadistic. And this is where Dylan gets a good death. Yeah, he's shooting his gun. And like his arm gets blown off.
The arm lands on the ground. It's such a great detail where it's still twitching for a while and firing the machine gun as the severed arm is on the ground. It's like, you won't see that in the Italian ripoffs.
It looks awesome. He gets picked up by the Predator with like the bayonet on the end of his, or I don't know if it's a bayonet. It's more like a Wolverine claw.
Yeah,
He's got like 2 long, Wolverine claw things that come out of his arm, like his forearm.
Yeah, and he's just like screaming and shooting.
Dutch and the other group can hear it too. I'm pretty sure when they're trying to make their escape, they just hear.
This is the first of a couple just rebel yells off screen where people are just going all Billy Idol and going screaming as they're in their death throes.
More.
Guess Carl Weathers and Bill Duke are out of the movie now. They've been brutally murdered.
Each of them got really good deaths, though.
I mean, Max was kind of shitty.
His head did explode.
Max was tense.
his head
Max's death
explodes.
was tense as fuck.
Yeah. Fuck, we loved Mac though, didn't we, folks?
Didn't we?
I think in this viewing, he's my favorite character.
He's up there. I can't pick. It's like picking a favorite child, I can't.
I've always been a Billy boy, and I think nothing's changed. Like everything leading up to this and his final scene where they hear the scream and he's just decided like, fuck it. He knows
had
exactly
enough.
what's going on. And he just like stands on this log bridge, takes off his vest and just like pulls out his knife and cuts it across his chest. And he's going to go like toe to toe with this thing because that's what it wants. That's what he wants. Like he's going to go out like a warrior on his feet.
He's just had so much of the tension that he just can't possibly take it anymore. He's like, I'm going to my death right now. He doesn't, I don't think he expects to actually beat the Predator when he goes after it.
We see that Predator getting a good look at Billy and sizing him up, and it went down with the melee weapons, even if it was quick.
Yeah.
The Predator fucking respected
He's
it.
like, this guy is a warrior. He's
so
doing a warrior
cool,
pose.
man.
He's issuing a challenge.
And then, we get Billy's insanely blood-curdling scream. It's like no scream I've ever heard in the history of movies.
And you don't actually see what happens to him, eh?
Nope, no idea.
It's left to your imagination, and that's perfect.
From that scream, I'm guessing he got the forearm blade treatment, maybe in a body part where it would especially not feel nice.
In the cornhole.
The old cornhole. He got a sore ass.
He Predator sorted me in the cornhole.
Now I have the big pussy.
Dutch hears Billy's laugh.
Well, maybe he wasn't laughing. Maybe the Predator just told him a really good joke, and he laughed so hard he fell off the bridge.
It's ambiguous.
Predator's like, you like that one? I got one for you.
The Predator's watching. He knows that if you can crack this Billy guy up, he's really off balance, and he might just fall to his
I
death.
know his weakness. I can't beat him in a fight. All right, a Jew, an Irishman, and a black guy walk into a bar.
Well, he knows he has a soft spot for pussy jokes because that's the one he heard earlier. A Jew and Irishman walk into a bar with their big old pussies hanging out. I don't know what the punchline is,
But their pussies are big.
So the Predator is chasing them. Arnie's kind of been shot at. Poncho's being lit up, and while they're running away, Anna, she's made her way to the chopper, or she's like on her way.
Run! Go!
get to the chopper.
Famous line.
So
Yeah.
like he knows, kind of like as this is all going on, he kind of puts it all together. He's like, the predator isn't gonna kill you if you're unarmed. So she tries to shoot him, and he's like, no, stop it, just like
Put the gun down.
put the gun down, just get to the chopper, get to the chopper.
Predator won't kill you unless you got a gun.
It's got like weird vampire rules.
Yeah, you have to invite Predator in.
Good
for him to
sport.
kill you. When you break it down, his heat vision makes about as much sense as like a T-Rex only being able to see movement. It's like, oh, you would think any alpha predator in the woods would be able to track people in through other means. I guess he can see movement, but
Well, actually,
the Yacha.
well, thing about maybe he doesn't have cones in his eyes.
Yeah.
So if he's not picking up colors on the visible light spectrum, it could be difficult for him to see without the infrared.
So
Some alpha predator.
we can infer that the predator can see other things too, because I don't think a claymore mine shoots off a lot of heat or anything like that. Like he's able to evade all the other traps and stuff like that.
And he navigates the jungle by jumping from tree to tree. He's very acrobatic. You see him, it's almost like he's defying gravity a few times.
Like,
Jumping
how does he
around.
know what's a tree?
Yeah, it's all just a flat
Yeah,
surface.
based
to
on
him.
his vision, like, well, it's not just flat. Like, he can see things. Like, one of these things could be like a orangutan's dick or something. Like, that would be a blooper goof up for the predator, I guess.
He loses track of Dutch at one point.
Now I must fuck it.
And then he sees the heat signature of like a skunk or something, and Predator kills like a skunk or a jungle weasel.
So Pepe Le Pew versus the predator. Who's gonna win? Pepe Le Pew's quite charming.
Well, then
Soft canceled.
you'll really find out what a good lovemaker the Predator is.
Yeah.
When those two go up against each other.
Yeah, no, I think the predator's fuckhole is getting stretched out for that one.
So Arnie gets hit, and he goes flying off of a cliff, or he jumps off of a cliff, goes into down a huge waterfall, or he lands in a river below, like a Billy Talent song, and then swims ashore, rolls around in some mud, not intentionally, but he just kind of rolls around in some mud. In the middle of the river, there's a big splash behind him. He knows the predator's right there, so he scurries up the bank, and he just kind of tries to hide.
This is the first time you actually see the full Predator in all his glory. The water shorts out his camo, and
You would think that camo would work better in water. You're going to a planet that's like 80% water and has like moisture all over the atmosphere.
Yeah, and they love the extreme heat.
They didn't really plan that one out very good.
Bunch of fucking idiots.
I was wondering, there's a few of these alien warrior races throughout science fiction franchises where it's almost hard for you to imagine them developing sophisticated technology. Like how the Klingons are so bloodthirsty with each other. At what point do they sit down and be like, okay, but we got to build spaceships and interstellar networks and warp drives?
Yeah, like the Vorcha and Mass Effect. It's like, these guys are fucking morons, and they somehow built a mass relay.
It's
Makes no sense.
That's a good point. But, like the Klingons, it's all just so they can kill each other and kill other people more efficiently.
Klingons are driven by aggression. Come on, man.
And I know
Man, come on. We're talking about the Klingons, man.
the Saiyans in Dragon Ball, they're a warrior space race, and I think they stole their technology from a race that they overpowered at one point. Like, they just figured out how to planet hop and hop to a more sophisticated planet and pilfered their technology. Maybe it's a situation like that.
I thought we were done saying everything we could about Dragon Ball.
Talking loud and saying nothing. Check it out on the High and Low podcast.
So Yamcha, a Bulma, and an Uzaru walk into a bar.
And their big old pussies are hanging out.
So the Predator's standing like 5 feet away from Arnie, can't see him.
He's covered in mud.
And
He couldn't see me.
And he
Yeah,
also,
just in case he
says
couldn't
it
put it
so
together.
loud.
He couldn't see me.
Predator's like 50 feet away. He's like, he couldn't see me.
shoulder cannon just takes him out. Plasma blast.
Everybody confused in the audience is like, thank you.
He also is deadly still. So he's got his heat signature covered, and he's also not moving. Predator probably could see him if he was moving, but
Arnold has an idea of a weakness or maybe a chance that he can get a drop on this thing. We get Silvestri's score kicking into overdrive. Arnold's looking super sexy. He's got his shirt off. He's fucking building these really damn impressive boobies booby traps in record time.
Just to kind of show like how much stronger Arnie is than everybody else. Like in a previous booby trap scenes where they're like hoisting these logs up, it takes like 3 of these other beefcakes to like lift it up, and Arnie's just like doing it by himself. And
Yeah.
With ease.
yeah,
At this point, Anna is still alive, I think. I think everyone else is dead.
Anna's gone. She's
He
split
sent
for the
her
chopper.
off. Yeah. He was like, you go to the chopper. Yeah,
She
okay.
got to the extraction point.
Yeah, so it's just
mono. Mono.
I hope the predator speaks Latin.
You see, they're both preparing for this. Predator's doing his own preparation ritual too. This is where he like rips Billy's skull out, and he's got the trophy, and it looks like he's heating up his knife, his arm knives. He's like shining his laser on his blades, and they kind of heat up red or something.
So this is where I kind of
Sharpening them or what?
Yeah.
And how do you know it was Billy's skull? Did you
I
take out your calipers?
I'm a phrenologist. I know these things.
he's got the shallow sloping forehead of
Trust me.
it's a skull and spine anyways, and it's pretty cool, but also watching it this time I couldn't help but think that the Predator's just like the worst kind of nerd, just like, I'm just doing it for my collection, I'm just doing it for my I'm gonna polish it up, and maybe that girl back in my Predator math class will think that I'm cool, maybe she'll want to talk to me after I show her my new collection of skulls.
Yeah, I got my Native American Funko Pop.
It's surprisingly diverse.
Crispin Glover showed up on a talk show I was watching once, and he brought his collection of body parts on. He has like a
He's a freak, man.
like a Body Worlds thing. He's like, these are my eyes. These are real eyes. That came out. It was great. Maybe he's a predator.
I've seen him on Letterman where he got kicked off permanently for like doing high kicks at him.
I remember
Letterman's
that.
like, I don't get your bit. Get the fuck out of here. Like, this isn't funny.
One of the great Letterman controversial moments.
Yeah.
He wasn't having it.
Arnold, rather than just rolling around the mud and pissing in his pants and crying like I would, he builds a fire and makes a big fucking roar.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
traps are set. He's covered in mud.
He sharpened all of his stakes. He made a bow and arrow.
Yeah, he's doing a Rambo thing now, where I guess maybe he wants silent weapons. It's like an exploding arrow.
He lost all his weapons, right? He just has a couple grenades left.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he does fashion an M203 grenade onto a arrow, I
Yeah.
believe.
Primitive technology.
Welcome back, grenade arrows. Also, I wanted to mention that earlier in this movie there was a snake encounter, which I never realized how much of a trope it was. I guess it's just a jungle movie trope when,
Gotta have wildlife.
yeah, like some badass is in a jungle and they come face to face with a snake.
And this
They're not shook at all.
That
Yeah.
snake is so
They
much
just grab
cooler than the Robowar snake, because there's a snake in Robowar too, but it's like a garter snake or something. It's like not that it's not whatever this thing was,
Yeah,
a
I
python.
don't know. Maybe that snake was poisonous, but
It could be,
Didn't
yeah.
look very scary to me. It was like the size of a pencil.
Couldn't crush you. Definitely not a constrictor. But this gets pretty sweet. He lit the torch. He's ready to fight the predator.
Time to settle the score.
Now he's hiding in the trees, and this is kind of cool because earlier when Billy was doing the CSI by the helicopter, and he was like, "It doesn't make sense. It's like people were just randomly shooting in the trees." Now Arnold's attacking the predator from the trees, and the predator's just spinning around, shooting his plasma gun wildly into the air. So it's like, the shoe is on the other foot now.
Yeah, that predator putting on a big light show because it's nighttime and it's like the 4th of July. It's fucking high explosive lasers
Sweet.
in all directions.
It's awesome. They didn't actually torch any rainforest because all this stuff had actually burned a season or two before, but they blew up a lot of shit for all of this stuff.
It's too bad they didn't torch more rainforest.
Yeah, I'm usually not for deforestation unless it's for making a Predator movie.
They're a one-man Brazilian logging company.
I'd burn the entire rainforest down for one more good Predator movie.
Get it while you can.
Fuck everything.
Yeah, so Arnie, like you said, he's made some grenade arrows. He's made a grenade spear. He gets the Predator in his sights. I think he shoots a grenade arrow at it, and this kind of knocks out his cloaking device. So now he can see him.
And yeah, total table turn because now he's invisible to the predator. He's covered in mud.
Yeah, he's throwing shit at the Predator, and the Predator like tries to triangulate. You see from his vision is like, well, if he threw from there, and the trajectory of that item went this way.
Fishing target.
Yeah.
His shoulder cannon is pretty be on the ball. Like if he gets an attack from a certain angle, his shoulder cannon will just go like and like shoot in that direction. But Dutch is too quick. He jumps out of the way. Does he jump into water again?
No, Predator.
He does get wet, and like his mud comes off, and then the Predator can like see him now.
There's just like a ton of action here that happens at this.
Yeah.
It's really dense, and at one point the Predator like gets him and like lifts him up by the throat, and is like ready to kill him. But
When he's hiding under the log and holding on, like he runs across the log, and suddenly the Predator and him are face to face, and he just freezes because he's still got his mud on, but he's like a couple feet away from the Predator, and he rolls to the under. They're on a log bridge, and he's hiding under it and gripping, and it's amazing. Only a man with those biceps could hold himself up by his body weight for that long.
yeah, and he's got a look on his face. He's like, Blaine usually does my back, but he wasn't here today, so I don't know if I got all my mud on my back. Yeah,
So
it's
Predator
awesome.
catches him, and they just like out of respect, I guess, takes off his mask, and there's like the cool air effects, like.
Yeah, there's a
When they
hiss.
take it off, like none of it looks cheap, like
No.
other movies do. Even other Predator movies, to some extent, do. Like this just looks so tactile and visceral. Like every little thing with his suit.
It's such a big reveal because nobody has any idea what this thing looks like. No, like if you told me that it was going to look like some sort of crab thing, I don't know. Like I never would have thought that in a million years. It's such a cool looking face.
Apparently, the original design was some kind of dog head with one eye in the middle, but they realized that would be too hard for the actor to actually see out of, or something weird like that. It is a design that changed a lot throughout production.
It's a good change.
It's iconic. Everybody knows what that Predator face looks like, but Arnold hadn't at this point. And
So
he's going,
it's love at first sight, and he's like, "You're so beautiful. I want to take you and marry you somewhere."
Do you have mammary glands?
Did you guys watch the director's cut?
They start playing some Sade, and they just kind of. Arnie has the iconic line.
You are one ugly motherfucker.
The Predator tries to mimic him at one point here too. Is that what the line he tries to mimic? Like ugly motherfucker. Whatever he's saying. That's more of an Omega 1
And so-
voice. But
Do it now!
Well, they're fighting. Arnie gets the shit kicked out of him. He's like, it's like a Rocky fight. He's just like getting uppercut, and he's just spitting blood out everywhere. And
He's getting ragdolled by this fucking thing.
I think he goes with the Predator for his spear here, and the Predator just like knocks it aside, and Arnie's like, bad idea. Gets thrown over a rock.
yeah, and so he's trying to. He's like, he kind of like he gets thrown away, and then he kind of like crawls into his like a little hidey hole, and the Predator just like looking at him, and he's gonna like come and get him, and he's like, come on, kill me, and the Predator's like,
Suspicious.
something's a little suspicious about
Yeah.
this. This is a little off, and he notices there's a little stick there. Sticks don't usually grow sideways like this between two rocks. This is kind of weird, and so he
What does
decides
he
to
know
go
about
around.
Earth botany?
I've spent a lot of time in the jungle at this point, and I'm pretty sure this is a trap. This is not a naturally occurring foliage.
Yeah, he gets smushed with a log trap like Daffy Duck.
So the Predator goes around.
Pretty much it.
And it turns out that like the stick was actually the trigger, but the trap was gonna go.
He doesn't go under the
Right.
trap where
Because he's behind.
That's why he's like, kill me, go this way. Make sure you walk on this path to when you come to kill me.
No, don't stand there. Stand right over there.
Not over there, over there.
It's like Heather's. You guys got to stand in these two circles, and then you'll get your blowjobs. It's like,
Yeah.
And so yeah, the Predator goes around and he gets Daffy Ducked real good. Gets crushed by-
Ewoked.
or Ewoked.
yeah.
Or Ewoked.
Actually, Ewok in George Lucas's 1983 spectacular.
I don't know how much of this log. Most people haven't seen the holiday special yet, but there's a particularly brutal log death scene.
So a couple of logs is enough to just like make the Predator want to die and commit suicide, which is funny. He's like shrugged off machine gun fire and grenade launchers and whatever. But whatever, I'm not going to nitpick that.
This log weighs like 1,000 pounds.
you-
it's
you know-
it's a gigantic.
You have to hit him with bludgeoning damage,
He
apparently.
is,
Yeah.
He's pinned down. He's not quite dead yet, but Dutch picks up a big rock, and he's going to give him the coup de grace in the head with the rock. So the Predator's not out for the count yet, but he's like, okay, this is it for me once I get rock in the face.
Yeah, so he just kind of pulls out his little device on his arm and he dials in all these like cool looking digits.
He turns into Vincent Price for a second. Arnie,
It takes him a good minute. He's like, oh, what's he doing? Oh,
setting a bomb?
that's neat.
oh,
That's
he's like, I didn't think the Power Glove was coming out for another 4 years.
Can't put two and two together. That
you got any good cheat codes for the SNES on that one?
I like Mario too, but it's not really a Mario game. It's a little different.
I'm more of a Q*bert guy.
You have Dig Duck on there. And so Arnie he realizes whatever's happening, it's not good. So he runs away. And then there's a gigantic explosion. There's like a big mushroom cloud.
It can't be that big because Arnie survives, but it looks like a mushroom cloud comes out of the trees.
It's a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, he's
sure.
sounding like he ran a little bit, but he's not further than like half a block. You can't move fast in a jungle.
Predator was at low ground. Maybe he got over the ravine.
Something.
himself.
In any case, he's like 20 feet away from ground zero. It's scorched earth as far as the eye can see, and there's a lone figure, one figure remaining after this epic battle, and it's Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger, and it's the coolest shit.
It's an amazing wide shot of the burning, flattened jungle, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's just like a little tiny guy standing there. That is so cool. I forgot about that shot.
The chopper sees him. The chopper sees the explosion and goes in. So
Like,
it's
oh.
this smoky ruin, and the chopper's coming down, and the whirly blades.
I was like, rainforests don't usually have mushroom clouds. Let's go investigate.
Yeah, their helicopter's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Shit's going crazy.
Yeah.
And it's the
EMP.
it's the guy who plays the Predator in the suit.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
he's
I didn't know that.
The tall black guy.
Yeah.
Got to show his face.
Predator just loved that pussy joke so much that he died laughing.
I guess funny enough,
As should we all.
if Jean-Claude Van Damme had played the Predator, maybe he would have got to show his face for one scene as he wanted.
Maybe.
But-
That'd be so
Little
funny if the
bitch.
Predator like took the mask off. Was like, it's me. Arnie's he's being transported away. He's seen some shit. He just wants to sleep. Him and Anna live. Who knows what happens after that?
Never
'Cause it's
see
the
him
end of
again.
the fucking movie.
And he never pops up in any of the sequels, as we said.
Which is
and
great.
of his participation with the Predator.
We need no more. That's a perfect movie.
It's a perfect movie, and then we get the credits and get to do the little run around the bases. I don't know. We hate movies calls it a victory lap. What do you call these? What do you call these credit sequences when
I was watching it, I kept thinking, like, if there was Predator trading cards, these are the pictures that would be on the trading cards, just like every guy doing a pose with his gun and smiling kind of thing, or like, you know, when you played baseball as a kid, you would get those cards printed out.
Yeah, and you rip out the other team's spines.
Yeah, you got to take trophies, participation trophies.
But this is just T-ball. This is children's sports. You signed the waivers. You knew what was in the contracts when you put your children on the field.
You actually feel accomplished once you've got a skull.
So yeah, you get
do
one
love
last
that.
look at all of the cast, and
what
it's
a
great.
cast.
Everybody's just like smiling too. It's like not from the movie at all. It's just like
No,
it's
You do
sitcom
get that
credits.
one- they're like, can we get a shot of Sonny? Can we get a shot of you smiling? He's like,
Yeah.
No. Use the one of me laughing from
Yeah.
earlier. And that's what they do.
Everybody else, it's like Jesse Ventura about to like unload his minigun. Like, oh, you caught me.
Yeah. Like the too many cooks.
Yeah, exactly. Classic sitcom intro.
And it's great. Yeah, that's the movie. It's like a $1:45 or an hour 45.
And it really is one of those almost perfectly structured movies that goes from beginning to end, flies. It doesn't have any real dead spots in it.
I don't know what I would cut. I don't know what you would want to add. It's kind of flawless in its screenplay and execution.
Best of the best.
Much
All right.
like Robowar.
Much like Robowar, which we'll talk about after a short break.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Robowar.
Fishing target. Receiving.
Welcome back to High and Low. We had just covered 1987's Predator. Now, savior to the podcast, director Bruno Mattei would be remiss if he could let an action blockbuster as large and grand as Predator slip through his grasp. So 1 year later, he decided he wanted to direct his own take on it. 1988's Robowar. Featuring special guest of the pod, Omega One.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with my best friends, Mitchell, Vaughn, and Luca. I love you guys so much, and I know you would never betray me.
Omega One, what was it like being in Bruno Mattei's film Robowar?
Bruno was a tyrant. He insisted we call him Vincent Dawn. He forced us to lick 9-volt batteries. It erased my memory databank. I no longer remember the feel of mother's clamps.
Oh, Omega One, that's not very nice.
Surely you have.
I'm sure Bruno Mattei is a great guy.
Surely you have something nice to say about the project.
I fell in love with Bruno Mattei's 4-slot toaster. We made love on Jean-Claude Van Damme's Island of Misfit movie props.
Really?
Well, that's a shame to hear.
All that. Wow. Well,
Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, regardless of your feelings, I think Bruno Mattei will be returning to the pod later. And of course, you're welcome to come back anytime. Please feel free to jump in for any color commentary you might be able to add to this discussion on the film.
Especially during your scenes, or, we want to get the inside scoop on what happened on set.
So, hope you don't take offense if we're badly imitating you.
It's all from a place of love. Right off the bat, I think that it's worth commenting. Omega One, you really got the star-turning role in this feature. Predator was on screen for a total of 8 minutes or so. You, in this 90-minute film, you're on screen for about 30, 40 minutes of it, right?
It was a collaboration. I cannot take all the credit.
It just doesn't stop.
Listeners of the podcast, fans at home, if you haven't seen this movie, you're fine. Check it out, actually. It's pretty good. But Omega One, rather than being an invisible alien predator thing, Omega One is some leather-clad or rubber-suited, black-suited thing running around through the jungle, and it's sort of like a cyborg thing.
He's a leather daddy. And we're going to have some fun with him later.
We're going to see who fucks better, Predator or Omega One.
Predator didn't want to be on mic, but we have him waiting in the basement.
But yeah, he's a leather daddy, but he's got like a motorcycle helmet on. It's a pretty cheap looking costume. Stan Winston didn't put this thing together.
My wife watched about 5 minutes of this movie with me, and she left. She's like, "It's just too bad," and she just like walked out of the
Fair
room.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
To be fair, she thought I was watching Predator, which I was going to watch after Robowar. So she came to like settle in, and she's like, no, I'm good."
Robowar does have its share of laser blasts and explosions, but they're not as dramatically shot as Predator. They're not as cool. In both these movies, there's a lot of just walking in the jungle. It's so much more tense and dramatic in Predator. In this, there's a few scenes where it was like, okay, I am starting to check my watch. Like, I can't take too many more scenes of these guys walking in a jungle.
It really highlighted the difference.
When I watch an Italian knockoff, I really just want everything to be escalated. I don't expect the craft to be on par with the movie that it's ripping off, but I expect there to be more explosions, more violence, more like disembowelings and things like that.
Nudity.
All of that stuff. And this one didn't really deliver on any of that, because it really, more than anything else we've done, tries to be a shot-for-shot remake of Predator. I don't know. Those are some pretty big shoes to fill.
We've covered Bruno Mattei's, a.k.a. Vincent Dawn. That's his Americanized pseudonym that he uses for some of these movies. We've covered his Double Target before on the pod, and I felt like that one had a lot more love and care put behind it. He made 6 movies that were released in 1988, and this is just one of them. So this was his peak year, peak Bruno Mattei.
Bruno Mattei directing again. Same writers as Double Target 2, Claudio Fragasso and Rosella Drudy. These guys teamed up a lot. They must have all been buddies or something. They're probably helping him pump out those 6 movies a year or whatever.
They're famous for a lot of bad movies, but they also worked on Strike Commando and Strike Commando 2. Strike Commando stars the same guy who stars in this movie, which I've seen, and
Reb Brown.
Coming attractions on this pod.
They did it.
If we want to do a second tour of duty in the nomsploitation genre.
Oh, I think we do.
Yeah, probably. This is kind of almost like our episode 1.5 of a sequel to the Rambo 2 Double Target one.
It would be nice to go through Bruno Mattei's entire filmography, but if he's pumping out 6 movies a year, year anyway.
That was only for a few years.
That's still a lot.
He didn't make that many movies, but this one feels a little more slapdash to me.
They did like Zombie 3 and all that. Like Lucio Fulci did Zombie and Zombie 2, but they also did the infamous Claudio Fragasso and Rosella Drudy did Troll 2.
Troll 2.
There's a documentary about Troll 2, best worst movie, that I watched, and Claudio Fragasso is in it. And Troll 2 found this second life as a really popular bad movie, and there was this screening where Claudio Fragasso showed up, and it's kind of tragic while you're watching it in the documentary. Like, he thinks everyone's there to love his movie, and he doesn't realize that his movie is a joke. And then somebody's like, yeah, it's one of the worst movies ever. And he's like, my movie no bad movie. And he's like going around to the crowds and he's like, you think my movie bad movie? And they're like, no, we love it. And he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, okay, but you knew what you were doing, Claudio Fragasso. You knew you were pumping out 6 movies a year, and you knew the production value was they're fun movies, but they're not high art. You knew you were pumping out B movies. Come on.
I have a hard time believing Claudio Fragasso didn't know that Troll 2 was bad. I mean, Strike Commando 2, you can like look at that and be like, you know what, this is objectively a pretty fun and cool action movie. It delivers on everything you want from an action movie. Troll 2 is fucking terrible. I mean,
it's earned its reputation.
It's a cult movie for a reason, but man, it's bad.
Isn't that right, Omega One?
I have calculated your assessment to be correct. My collaboration with Fragasso was the apex of our collective careers.
That guy's a character. So this is Robowar 1988, not to be confused with all the other Robo titles on Tubi, which include Robowar 2017, Robot World, Robot Carnival, Robot Jocks, Robot Riot, Robot Wars, Robo Vampire 3, Counter Destroy, Robot Holocaust, or Robot versus Aztec Mummy. This is Robowar 1988, guys.
Luckily, I looked at the dates between the two Robo Wars, and I was like, okay, we probably want the one from the 80s.
The one that was made 1 year after Predator.
It'd be so funny to make a blatant knockoff of a movie like 30 years later. I'm capitalizing on the popularity.
Someone should make a blatant knockoff of Robo War.
Well, wasn't that what Predator 2 was?
It's a Xerox of a photocopy at that point.
Speaking of Xerox of a photocopy, in pretty short order, we get to see through Omega 1's point of view in this movie, and I can't make anything out. Whereas like the Predator had this sweet thermal vision where it's kind of hard to see things out. You could at least see like a bright red thing moving along against like a green or a blue background. This is just like an orange smear with like a pixel somewhere, and Omega 1... Sorry, Omega 1. We're going to just do a bit of your voice right here. You just hear Omega 1's voice like, fishing target acquired, firefight, received.
That was an acting choice by Omega 1. It's kind of like Marlon Brando putting the cotton balls in his mouth. Omega 1 made lots of targeting noises.
It looks like an NES game that's trying to do 3D.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like 8-bit 3D.
2-pixel vision. It's shittier than an old Atari. Yeah. It's like Terminator vision or the Predator Heat vision, but Terminator is made out of sophisticated technology. Omega 1 is made out of like 8-track players and an old VHS handheld camera or something. It's
like that Family Guy joke. Like the $6 million man. This is a $600 man. And it's like Peter, and he's got like a trash can and like a broom handle for a leg.
My father was a laser disc player. I tried to get some good quotes for Omega 1, but when I put on the subtitles, all it said was digital vocalizing. Anything.
On my Tubi, we got all the subs.
I probably didn't wait
Target
long
acquired,
enough.
target acquired.
Yeah.
So that's where it opens, is we got a helicopter, and it's flying around, and the instruments are acting crazy.
Omega 1 depends on its central memory bank. It must be its central memory bank.
It's no longer under control.
Moving target.
Receive. On target, fire.
You see his gun in like the Omega 1 vision, and he's just like firing artillery shells up into the sky and everything. It looks like he's taking out a village and killing a bunch of soldiers. He's doing quite a bit of damage here. I have to assume a lot of it was just like stock footage. You can't even tell what it is under the 2-pixel vision. So
just like pre-war atrocities that somebody caught on film.
Yeah. Put Omega 1 2-pixel filter over it and no one will tell.
There is a fair amount of explosions in this, which I expect from this kind of movie.
Watching this made me think, this and Laser Blast, that good lasers and explosions must be fairly cheap to do, because that's one thing even a real cheap, low budget B movie seems to be able to get right if they want to.
Yeah, where are these guys getting all their dynamite and stuff? I'd like to know. Not because I have any particular plans or anything.
It's just some old mining operation in the jungle, and sure, the nitroglycerin's leaked out a little bit, but it's still good.
Old abandoned prospector's cabin.
Yeah, boom goes that helicopter.
Yeah,
it blows up a helicopter. That's the start of the movie, and that's good. That's what I've come to expect. We see helicopters explode. It's the bare minimum, but it's a good minimum.
Yep.
It worked for me. And it might have worked because I watched Robowar first and didn't watch them blowing up the village in Predator yet, but it worked.
An explosion is an explosion.
Yeah.
Not all explosions are created equal, but if they're putting an actual explosion on camera, I'm gonna have a good time.
And Laser Blast, he only blows up the airplane later in the movie after you've already seen several good explosions. So the airplane blowing up is a little bit of a disappointment. But here, right off the bat, he blows up the helicopter. So it's pretty sweet, even if it is just, I mean, again, I'm sure they didn't blow up an actual helicopter for it.
I don't know, it kind of looks like they did. I don't know. I'm not an expert or anything.
Where do these Italians just have all these helicopters laying around? Because they blow up so many of them when they do these movies.
Whole industry of just disposable helicopters,
paper mache helicopter,
and pilots to put in them.
Yeah, they never cut to show a dummy falling out. We can only assume the pilots.
So what was your code name again, Mitch?
Oh, I'm Stab Mother.
Stab Mother. Okay. So this is where we cut right to a slideshow introducing our team of badasses for this movie.
Every one of them's a face, and every one of them has just as much screen presence and charisma as everybody in the Predator.
Yeah.
So around this table we have Omega 1, of course, himself, the man, the machine, the legend,
the myth.
Splatterbag.
We have Splatterbag.
Stab Mother.
And we have Cum Shot. And here we have Corporal Neil Corey, expert heavy weapons, top marksman rating.
He's like the one who's like a silver fox, kind of.
Yeah.
He looks like Lee Marvin a bit.
I like that guy. He is one of the better actors. Then we have Private Larry Guarino, crack reconnaissance man, known as Diddy and Diddy Bop.
Yeah.
Oh, God. If that guy was Diddy Bop, then all of my notes are wrong for this episode.
Yeah, he's Diddy Bop.
I thought he was the Silver Fox.
Yeah, no, he's. I know. I got them all fucked up. I swear the movie got them fucked up at certain points.
Wouldn't surprise, but yeah,
But
Diddy
this
Bop.
is the kind of dark-haired Italian-looking guy.
He looked like he had like a Korean high school boy haircut to me. So that's how I kept remembering him.
Yeah, he did have a stupid on young-looking haircut.
Yeah, but on like a 40-year-old man.
Then we have ex-Vietnam medical officer Alfred Bray, and this is the guy in the Hawaiian shirt smoking a pipe, dubbed Papa Doc.
It's like an author's headshot for a book that you like find on the inside of a book jacket. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you found me doing something interesting.
And
I wrote Song of Ice and Fire.
like Papa Doc seems like such an inappropriate nickname too, because it wasn't that like a Haitian dictator.
Yes.
Not sure where this healer got
I'm
that
pretty sure.
from.
I'm not as up to speed on dictators as you, Mitch.
You gotta believe me.
Sonny Peel, martial arts expert. His friends call him Blood. Guess what color this guy is? He's the black guy.
Yeah, that's the laziest of the nicknames, maybe.
Nung Quo, forward scout and point taker, named Quang.
He's the Billy of this movie. He's the guy, the tracker guy who goes on ahead and can find tracks and
He's totally the Billy. I
Yeah.
like this guy, actually. He's pretty good.
And to carry over from the Vietnam campaign. Okay. I thought that was a weird thing to add.
And this is our coordinator, Major Murphy Black, multi-decorated field officer, better known as Killzone.
that was my nickname.
And that's a nickname we never hear once again throughout the entire movie. Why do they have nicknames? Well, you should know what the group is called. BAM. BAM? That's big ass motherfucker. Sort of like get to it and go get fucked like a NAM. They're professional smasher, the best. Anti-guerrilla expert smasher, and they're your best bet for finding your lost friend, Omega 1.
Is this after George Michael left the group?
Wake me up before you blow. Don't leave my village in smithereens, yo.
And so, yeah, they're explaining all this to Masher, and he is the Carl Weathers stand-in for this movie. And whereas Carl Weathers did 2 or 3 duties of Vietnam, Masher did 2 or 3 duties around the buffet table at breakfast, because this guy like does not belong in jungle combat.
I gotta coordinate the mission.
So throughout the whole movie, he's just kind of like monologuing to himself like he's Iago or like some sort of Shakespearean villain or something like that. There's a big reveal later on, but it all makes sense. Because I'm like, why is this guy going with him? Because one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, very on the nose in this scene where they're briefing him. They're like, are you going to tell Bam about Omega 1? And it's like, no, they must never know the truth about Omega 1. Right off the bat, there's something weird with this guy. He's hiding us. They don't play it out cleverly
Right
like
off
in
the
the
bat,
Predator.
drink.
Right off the bat.
I love that like the general or whoever's kind of doing this briefing here, he's 30 years old or whatever, but he's got like the gray like eyebrows and like they've clearly just like put makeup on a 20 or 30-year-old guy and aged him up like they do in like an old Shaw Brothers Hong Kong like kung fu movie or something like that. And I love that.
Yeah, we can't afford a veteran actor. They ask for too much.
We've seen them all on paper. Now we get to see them all in the flesh, and it's the BAM.
Here comes a bunch of milquetoast nobodies.
Yeah. So whereas Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team of crack commandos are ready to just like destabilize a government. The BAM crew is ready to go for a weekend at Club Med or something like that. They're all just wearing like their pastel colored like t-shirts cut off with their midriff showing, and
They're on a party boat, yeah.
the African Queen too.
In Predator, they get the cool scene where they're all in the helicopter, bathed in red, getting their cool character introductions. The equivalent on this is they're traveling in the party boat off to their mission.
Hey,
And
pass me another brewski.
It's raining man. Hallelujah.
I can be your father figure. Wait, that's a couple years later.
So they're on a boat to Batu.
I didn't pay attention to where it was. All I know is
the
that they
boat
say
captain says where you're going is godforsaken.
it's just like a tropical paradise.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty all right place to me.
And he's like, get your people ready. We're going to be there in 2 minutes. And then as far as the eye can see in every direction, it's just open water everywhere. The whole boat dynamic to this whole pick up and drop off doesn't really have the same immediate intensity as Predator does with the helicopters, where it's like, gotta go. It's
Does everybody have their life jackets? Make sure you put them on. You can't just hold them.
they look like a cute boy band. They're all wearing pastel colors. The Italianisms really start heavy here, where it's like, okay, this must have sounded cool in Italian, but it doesn't translate to English. The Silver Fox and Diddy are passing a joint between each other, and Diddy's like, let me curry the energy, man.
apparently, so there wasn't much trivia on this movie, but apparently that was real marijuana.
Oh, interesting.
Crazy.
Whoa.
Cool. That makes me
movie's
like this
fucking
movie
tight,
25% more.
Yeah, and so they're kind of getting ready to be dropped off, and the captain's like, you have exactly 3 days. And to me, that just seems like it's a long weekend. It's a long weekend in tropical paradise. And if you're not there when I pick you up, you get another 2 days to find like this. It's just like all the time in the world to do whatever they have to do. And
Enjoy yourself out there.
yeah,
Take in some sun.
go check out the wet bar.
Yeah,
Did you try the pool?
Drink some vine milk.
There's plenty of time for them to make all the usual racist and homophobic jokes at each other's expense.
And it doesn't have the punch-ups that Shane Black was able to give to that script. It's just...
I think Blood's watching Diddy and Silver Fox smoke the joint, and he's like, look at these gay guys smoking a joint together. I bet they have AIDS or something like that. It's like, oh, okay, that's not really a clever repartee.
Good one.
And this is where we kind of find out that like Papa Doc is the philosophical one. He's just like being all cagey and going, like spouting off scripture while all the shit's about to hit the fan, I guess.
He's always got a pipe in his mouth. That's his thing. That's how you know he's sophisticated.
Yeah.
Even though he's just like a doughy, generic-looking, bearded white guy, he may as well be at this table along with Omega 1.
Yeah. Any one of
Papa
us.
Doc was not kind to me on set. He was an asshole at the lunch line.
You got to remember, he's a human doctor. He doesn't know about robots. He doesn't know robots from Adam.
He thought my cornhole was in my rear cabinet, but really it's in my elbow.
You know, we're not so different, you and I.
They make landfall and they go and meet Masher. They kind of have
Masher. I love these fucking dumbass names in these movies.
Masher's like, I'm coming with you, and the kill zone, whatever's like, what? No. What's this? We work alone. I'm your backup. And like,
He's not great.
everything's stilted. Like, he's the worst. Killzone's probably the worst.
Masher's no Dylan either. Why is this guy coming with us? on our
Exactly.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Rob Corddry kind of type.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's just a...
He sort of looks like Lars von Trier.
Yeah, just a loathsome looking white guy. A pretty poor substitute for Carl Weathers.
Part of his equipment is he has like what Peter Weller had in Screamers. Yeah, he's got like a thing on his belt. It'll come into play later. He can activate it to stop the robot from coming after him. He's the Peter Weller of this movie.
So we may as well just say it right here. Masher is in on we know that he's in on the whole thing, and he's very intimately connected with Omega 1. Isn't that right, Omega 1?
Masher was a robot fetishist. He has docked input ports with every influential robot in show business. Johnny 5, Robbie the Robot, Paulie's robot from Rocky 4. You name it.
It's more intimate than I thought.
It's always interesting
Salacious.
to get a behind-the-scenes peek like that.
He has his own motives, and he's keeping his cards pretty close to his chest.
They're walking along through the forest. It doesn't do Predator is so claustrophobic and cool. In this, it's just kind of shot. They pick the most open part of the forest to always watch them walking along in. Get another weird Italianism where they're like, walk different. You're walking like a ruptured duck.
Yeah, what does that mean?
The only thing I can think is it must be some Italian expression that just means nothing once you've translated it to English. And the actors were like, okay, I guess it's in the script.
That was probably a typo on the script. Walking like a ruptured dick. Yeah, there's also some really bad Foleying too, where they're just kind of being like, hey, it's nice here. And then like a voice that you won't hear ever again. It was like back home in Alabama, right? It's bad. It's bad.
But it's fun.
So, like, Quang is the magical one in this one, like Billy.
He can always detect if there's something in the trees or
he's the
something
guy.
amiss.
It's like, shh, when Quang takes point, that means danger.
Again, no cool commando movements, like hand signals or anything in this. Killzone is just like, Quang, take point. Silver Fox, you're in rear guard. And they just do that again and again and again as they're walking through the forest again and again and again.
It's actually remarkable how there's no tension when they're walking around in the jungle.
Broad daylight, no shadows really or anything.
Yeah, it just looks so flat. I don't know where they shot this. It looks kind of like South Vietnam, but it doesn't look anywhere near as scary as the jungles in Predator do, and it doesn't look as hazy or as hot. Anything. Like, it just looks like a bunch of guys fucking walking around in the bush, like the Blair Witch Project or something. Like,
yeah, well, and none
so
of the
cheap.
actors are given the opportunity to kind of show that they're in a tense atmosphere or anything like that. Every 2 seconds, I'm sorry, Omega One. Every 2 seconds, you just get the moving to our fishing target, received. Like,
It's a laughable voice. Every time you hear the Omega One voice, you just start laughing at it. And it happens all throughout the movie, again and again, like every scene, repeatedly. He's popping out of everywhere.
I am as Masher made me.
Omega One's getting visibly upset with us. I'm going to deactivate him so that we can do our AI hate crimes on him because,
Sorry, Omega One. We've seen what you're capable of.
Yeah.
You've got lasers. We don't have anything like that.
I know that you say that it was just acting, but I don't know. It seemed a little too real to me. So they come across this dead body. Doc has to come in and give his expert opinion and says, Lordy, his guts have been all scooped out. Hey, this is really weird.
And these bodies kind of look pretty
It's
good.
been there for days. It's a gorilla. And that's gorilla, G-U-E-R.
Although I'm sure a gorilla looks pretty similar to a human once you get the skin off it. I've never seen a gorilla without its skin.
Maybe a Mackaysic.
What about a human?
I've seen plenty of humans.
I thought you were an expert at phrenology.
Yeah, pass me your little pass me your like phrenology calipers.
I'm not sure what race this gorilla was. But the body props do look kind of cool. I'm sure they must have had some of these kicking around from some of the zombie movies they made and stuff like that.
Yeah, they got the eyeballs poking out and the
extras from the last
skin
movie
is flayed off and whatever. The guts are ripped out. It's some leftovers from one of the 6 movies Bruno Mattei made that year.
It's from Zombie 3.
Yeah. You need a fucking corpse? Here you go.
They're weirded out about them saying, oh, good God. Oh, jeez. Oh, dear. This is really bad. This is gross. One way to think about it is they're not really selling it. Another way to think about it is these people have seen some shit. This ain't nothing.
That's true. It's a walk in the park for them.
Oh, jeez.
They were in Nam.
So they see a glint in the trees and, oh, wow, what could it be? Then a putrefied, half-rotted body drops from the tree after they light it up. They just, like, fucking fire at this thing that they see in the trees. And they're like, shoot anything that moves.
There was the one scene in Predator where they all went crazy and they were just firing into the foliage. This is like the first of many times that happens in this movie. A lot. Everyone unload all your ammo right now at this thing in the tree.
Yeah, I made a note. It's like, wow, they did that a lot faster in this, or a lot lot sooner in this movie than they did in Predator.
Everything they're carrying with them must be ammo in their packs and stuff.
These guys just do not seem like professionals. Diddy climbs up the tree to retrieve the corpse's weapon, and then we get a couple more long scenes with the guys just walking around the jungle with like intense synth music.
Some rockin', shreddy guitar stuff pops up throughout this movie a few times too.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it rockin'. It kind of felt more like Van Halen on Ambien to me. It was like if you slowed down Van Halen to like half speed and like gave them all like a Tylenol PM.
I have it as
Rockin'.
a greasy electric guitar over a chug-a-lug go-go beat.
Oh, that's specific. I don't know. It felt to me like hit David Lee Roth on the head really hard, and he was like,
yeah. Like this movie is the third-rate
so
knockoff of Predator. This music is the third-rate knockoff of an American rock song.
And like this movie narrowly evaded a lawsuit by just making some small changes. There's like a needle drop later on where I swear to God, it is Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC, like the opening riff. But then somebody just like leans on a whammy bar for like the last little bit. So it's like, and
They're innovative, these Italian filmmakers.
hey, they get it done. Six movies in a year.
the soundtrack is shit.
They
really didn't put their love into it.
I am a sucker for a synth, though. So whenever I hear the synth popping up, which it does a few times in the movie too, it gets a little synthy now and then. I'm like, I just naturally think this is awesome, even if it sucks, even if it's the worst synth score ever.
There is that one music cue that keeps kind of popping up whenever action's about to going, and by the third time it comes up, I'm like starting to slaver a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, something cool. There's gonna be at least an explosion.
No Silvestri, but
so this is when Omega 1 just keeps this entire time, and it builds no tension whatsoever. Then finally Sonny steps into a spiky spring trap kind of thing.
Yeah, was that like
those sneaky little bastards are using the same techniques as Charlie.
It's like two boards with nails in it, and it sandwiches his leg in between.
That was intentionally supposed to look like two boards with the nails in it then?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Like Charlie used to make.
An even bigger board with a bigger nail. So they make a board with a nail so big it destroys them all.
Like, it doesn't bother him that much throughout the rest of the movie. He's walking around and he's with the group, but it's not like they have to leave him there in the foliage or anything.
Yeah, no, he's fine right after this. They just like have to take his boot off and look at it, and they're like, now we all gotta smell your feet. And they ain't gardenias.
Got him.
Got his ass.
Roasted.
Yeah, we got Quang, and he's scouting around. He's fucking jacked. Like, he's almost in Billy shape. Like, this guy is, he's a Southeast Asian gentleman. He
is the coolest of the bunch. The most believable as like the Spec Ops soldier.
He's my favorite, for sure, yeah.
He gets the best lines, too, as he goes along.
Yeah, we get a scene where he catches a snake. It's not a huge fucking python. It's, like you said, a garter snake.
Cute. He's about to stab it. Some noises up in the trees distract him, and he looks up. Like Billy, he has detected there's something weird going on up there, but he can't tell what it is yet.
Well, they're kind of like off looking around. Killzone and Masher, they're going to go look around, and Killzone's like, Masher, wait here. And then as soon as he leaves, Masher's like, this is how you know he's on their team. He's like, go fuck yourself. He's just like muttering to himself.
So Killzone and Quang, they're like looking at the bodies, and they're like, well, it looked like an ambush. They shoot in all directions. No isolated tracks. It's a ghost or a very special man.
Again, direct ripoff of Billy and Predator.
Like, exact lines, a fucking 100% ripoff, yeah. And
this is like the third or fourth direct ripoff that we've had so far. We're like 15 minutes into the movie.
Many more to come.
Claudio Fragasso, what do you mean my movie shit? I make a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's just like a Predator.
Maybe your shit. They kind of have like a little bit of an interaction with Omega 1, and they get into a bit of a firefight. Masher's just beside himself. He's so happy to watch all of this, and Omega 1 throws this like spike thing through a tree and runs away, and then Killzone tries to grab it, and he burns his hand, and Masher just shits himself. He's so happy with that. His machine. We find out later it's his robot.
And it almost killed him right here. He had to duck behind that tree.
Yeah, that knife buried into that tree. It's super deep. It's right down to the hill.
I'll admit it. I was wondering when Arnold pinned a guy with a machete by throwing it, if a man could actually do that. But
oh my God, Arnold Schwarzenegger's in those trees. Then they'd really be in trouble.
Only he can throw a blade that deep into a surface.
Yeah, they're like, it would take a sledgehammer to do that. Dang, it's hot.
Yeah, so I guess
So it's hot, too.
Omega-1 heats things up as he carries them, maybe.
No wonder he's malfunctioning all the time and looks like shit. He's fucking overheated. We need to get some cooling fans on this.
I made Omega-1 perfect. He's perfect.
Sorry, Omega-1. Is he sitting here unconscious next to us?
You
I
have
should
to
stop
admit,
scribbling on his face with Sharpies.
he's got a mustache.
He's got a dick. It's coming in his mouth.
And so they walk some more, and then they kind of like come across Mad Max for a little bit, where out of this like woman's running over, she's like being run down by a bunch of like crazed lunatics and jeeps and stuff, and they're just ready to do something foul. Blood's just looking for an excuse to murder anybody. He's like, I bet one of those people is the people who set the trap. I'm gonna go kill somebody real fast.
They're like 100 yards away, and everyone's like, Quang senses something. The vibration, the tingle-tangle in his balls. You just look up, and there's 2 jeeps and like people being chased.
And she's like,
Does this guy have superhuman senses?
wait, Quang's ball hairs are tingling a little bit.
Yeah.
Take a better look.
It's like Billy's
Get him
nose.
close to his balls.
They're pointing in that direction. It's coming from over there, Sergeant.
Come here, Masher. I'll show you something we learn in special ops.
You better duck, shithead. We're gonna start settling some accounts here. The guys are not far. They're standing on the bridge. The bad guys chasing the people are on the other side of the bridge, maybe 50 yards away.
Silver Fox
And
guy.
they're just standing there. There's 6 of them. They have huge guns trained on these people, and they do nothing.
They're running them down like jackrabbits. Get ready for a clean kill. They have the most ridiculous comedy shot here. Like the hillbillies and Lady Snowblood when they're menacing her at the beginning. All of a sudden, the jeeps pull up to this blonde girl who's been running, and these hillbilly guys get out of it, these gorillas, and they're surrounding her, they're menacing her, they're like, let's take her in the bushes. And then the camera pans over, and instead of some cool sneaky scene, it's just the BAM group standing 5 feet to the side.
Yeah,
in
they're
one
right
shot.
there in a line.
Surprise, cockbags. And we get our second just shot of them unloading until all their triggers are going click.
They get a little cool moment where the last gorilla has the blonde girl and he's got the gun to her head, the classic scene. He's like, let me go, or I kill her. And they're like, you have 5 seconds to let her go. And
Freeze, dirtbags.
Killzone's just so cool, the leader of BAM. He gets him, shoots him.
Well, he gets him in the chest, and then
Your move, creep.
Silver Fox steps in, like Killzone's like, I never finish my own kills. He like shoots him once, and then like Silver Fox steps in and just like unloads on the guy like another like 50 rounds. And
They're a team, man. That's how a team operates.
Just a bloodbath.
yeah, it's not as tense as
appreciate
Predator,
that.
but this part's almost as entertaining.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously staged, but I'm just happy to see a bunch of people getting gunned down.
That's what we
I
came
wanna
here.
see.
That's what I paid to be 5 minutes of my time watching ads for.
You want to see some good explosions and some machine guns going off, and that'll make a good B movie. That's enough to satisfy the itch. They rescue the blonde girl.
Virgin.
Is that her name? Oh, Virginia is her name.
In the subtitles,
In the credits, it's Virgin.
Oh, is it? Okay.
that's weird.
I wasn't sure. She doesn't talk for a while, and I was halfway suspecting that she might just not even say anything through the whole movie at some point, but eventually she does dump her backstory on them.
There was supposed to be a romance plot, and they axe it, and that's totally fine. 'Cause this movie's taut.
Masher, of course, is like, there's no way she can come along. She's dead weight. But Murphy Black, Killzone, he's in charge. We're taking this woman because she's
his
a
squad.
sexy blonde lady.
I've saved hot ladies before, and I know what happens after.
Right, straight out of Scandinavia. She's in
There'll
the middle
be
of
a-
the jungle.
There'll be a forced romance plot. Enemy sighted, recede, moving target, recede. The hunter is like in 20 yards away from everybody else, and he starts fucking shooting lasers at the guys.
They run away.
So they run away.
Again, another Predator ripoff line, like where Jesse Ventura and Predator is like, this is thick jungle. It's thicker than Cambodia. Here, they're like, this jungle, this is some heavy greens. It's like it's a collard green stew.
If you get caught in it, you'll never get out of it. Mm-hmm. Damn right. It's like,
Man, it's like the script was sent through a translator 3 or 4
It really
times.
is, yeah. Before Google Translate, somehow they got the same effect.
Omega-1, what's something some Americans would say about some thick green thing? Collard green stew.
Instead of Shane Black, Omega 1 did the punch up on this movie. It all makes perfect sense now.
This forest jungle pussy's as big as a house.
Well, any character named Virgin is not going to have a pussy as big as a house, so she's got that going for her.
But yeah, they do call her Virginia, but then like at the end, I think this movie does like a little victory lap with everybody with the credits too, and like anyways, they show her emblazoned on the screen, and it's like, quote, Virgin.
Yeah.
That's her name. Everybody else gets like their kill zone and their...
Totally believable that they might just have a typo in their own end credits. That's acceptable in an Italian movie like this.
So the next big beat that I have is they do the village raid. Killzone looks through his binoculars and he sees like a village that's perfectly intact. There's people going about their business. And he's like, is this San Pedro? Yeah. What's left of it? And I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like,
The village was burned down. Haven't you heard? Everyone killed. There's something really weird going on here.
She drops her backstory. She's like, there was a cholera epidemic, and that's why I'm here, and it's establishing field hospitals, and
it all makes perfect sense.
Target fishing.
Robo's watching them.
Collard greens too.
We know if we've seen a Bruno Mattei movie, what's going to happen to this village that's full of grass huts.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have been storing their barrels full of dynamite in the huts the way they did. Because
that it did add an element of danger. You're like, oh, I know there could be civilians here. Like,
just villagers carrying crates of TNT back and forth going about their business.
They were forced to by the guerrillas.
Plates of glass, crates of chickens.
Yeah.
Like,
walking back and forth across the street.
What are you guys doing?
Fire grenades.
But so
Masher's like, we're not going in there. And they're like, whatever, fuck you, Masher. They just go in with machine guns and kill everything that moves.
And as this is happening, they get that synth kind of go-go drum score that comes in. I'm like, okay, some shit's gonna go down. I'm ready for this. And
even Masher does get in on the action here, though. His weapon of choice is a shotgun, and once he realizes the shit's going down, he's also walking through the village gunning people down.
Yeah, he's got a sawed off.
He goes into one hut and he's looking around and it's empty, and then he turns to leave and he just like aims up at the roof and shoots, and a guy falls through the roof. It's like, oh,
this guy has killer instincts out of nowhere.
Maybe he is a spec ops guy after all.
Shit, I had him down as Diddy Bop, but I guess he was probably Silver Fox. He sneaks up on a guy and like waits for him to turn around so he can look him in the eyes before he stabs him. Like,
it's honorable. He's like a predator.
Yeah, sure.
Taking his mask off before the big fight.
Silver Fox is a different guy. Diddy Bop is the dark-haired Italian.
I know.
Guy.
I don't know who did what anymore.
I know. All these fucking guys are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Blood's unloading his machine gun and he has like this great laugh where he's like, eh. It's just like
Killzone does the Rambo thing where Stallone does it so much better though, where he starts screaming when he's firing a machine gun. Killzone will do that where he starts firing his gun and he's just like like it just does. It's not nearly as good as Stallone when he does it.
Killzone's supposed to be the good guy, and like Schwarzenegger in the previous movie, he's the most flippant of them all, delivering lines like "sorry" when he rifle butts a guy and then shoots him in the fucking chest, or when he does "don't move" after he pins a guy to a flaming hut with a knife in his chest. He just literally fucking steals it.
I wonder where they got the idea to impale somebody and stick them to a wall and then say something
do a
like
quip.
There's all sorts of bad ADR here. Like, God damn it, you scared the shit out of me. Easy.
We do see Sonny, the martial arts expert, doing some martial arts on guys, but it's like sped up.
He's quick as a cobra.
Yeah, you can see like everybody in the background.
There's a lot of people just killing people with their bare hands in this. Tooled up as they all are, they are just like not afraid to just like break necks and do.
Get their hands dirty. They killed every last person in the village. And
that's what they were sent there for, right?
and then the blonde girl runs in. She's like, what about the children? There's children in the village. And
it's like, oh shit, we forgot about the children.
They are all dead, I think. They find a bunch of children laying in a hut. Something killed these children.
Hang on, let me reactivate Omega 1 and ask him.
Gentlemen, it was nothing sinister, I assure you. Merely the unfortunate result of a malfunction with my targeting matrix. The courts ruled it was an accident.
God, I'm sorry I did that.
Sleep now, Omega 1. Everybody's dead. Throughout this all, Killzone's sort of trying to act. He can't act. That's okay. Nobody else can.
They attracted the attention of Omega-1. This is where he kind of beefs with them, I think. Quang, like Billy, has spotted something in the trees, and they're like, what was it, Quang? He's just one. He no hide, but we no see him.
The gimp got out of his box.
Guarino then, sees the hunter and he tries to chase him. We get the hunter's POV. Receive, on target, fire. Guarino gets got and he's dragged away as the hunter's battling. Corporal Corey, that's the silver fox. He runs after him and he finds a severed arm and blood everywhere. And Quang fights the dog tags on it and says it belonged to a Lieutenant Woodring. Oh. Who's this Lieutenant Woodring?
Very mysterious.
Yeah. Masher's left alone with Virgin for a minute. She's like, what's going on? What's going on here? And he's just been dying to tell anybody about what he's doing. He's like, dives into this diatribe. He's like, well, I invented the Masher. I invented Omega-1, blah, blah, blah. But you don't hear all of it, but he's just like,
I had to see how my thing would stack up against a hero, and you're a real hero. Let's see how it works.
Man, if he thought it was going to get him laid, he's got another thing coming.
Masher, when he's standing next to Killzone, he's no Killzone.
Masher all the way. Oh.
Pick Omega-1.
I'm a love machine.
Sophisticated fuckbot.
I am fully anatomically correct.
I can love.
It's okay. You can fuck my elbow if you want.
Bam to Red Dog. Bam to Red Dog. Come in. Bam to Red Dog.
They're on the radio. They're trying to get through to their helicopter. They're all freaked out now. Quang isn't too crazy about Masher after hearing some of these details. Quang's like, this guy crazy. You should kill him. I make him tell the truth with my knife. Quang will be his shadow. he's in charge of following Masher from now on.
Murphy gets those dog tags and he's like, Woodring. And it like flashes back and he's like in a minefield in Vietnam or something. And he's there with his buddy, Lieutenant Woodring. He's like, oh no, we're in a minefield. Woodring, don't move. And Woodring moves and it's like, I'm blown up.
I got blown up pretty good, Sarge.
I told him not to move. But he moved.
Fucking Charlie in their traps. What are you doing in fucking Charlie's territory? Get out of there. Fuck.
They should just be grateful that these gorillas didn't smear feces on the budgie trap. This was a clean trap.
Is that a Charlie trick?
Yeah, that was a nom trick. Yeah.
I'd do that.
Give you some tetanus or whatever you get from that.
I hammer nails through boards and set up little spring traps all around my house, and that's my goddamn business. If my neighbor comes in and steps in one, I don't want to hear him complain about it.
Woodring is a long lost. This is an important plot point.
He was the fifth
best friend,
the fifth BAM member.
Yeah,
pretty much.
He was the band.
Pete Best of the group.
Yeah, before they got famous, he dropped out and he never got to enjoy the great reputation BAM went on to have as Spec Ops soldiers.
No.
Papa Doc also gets his scene with Masher. He's like, whatever you're up to, Masher, I don't like it.
Quinn's gonna slice off your balls and shove them down your throat.
Everyone
says Papa Doc to Masher as he smokes his pipe. That's never lit. I never saw him light the pipe once.
You don't light your pipe. That's how the snipers know you're there. Was he lighting anybody up in that village scene? I didn't notice.
I didn't see him in there at all.
I can't remember if he did. No.
He's just around for his quips and his philosophies and his...
I think when Blood gets his leg trapped in the trap, maybe he does a little medic work on him or something. Maybe that's his contribution to the group.
He's the medic. He's the doc. He's Papa Doc. Fuck a Papa Doc. Fuck a park. Fuck a trailer. Fuck everybody.
This is where they have to get...
I'm a piece of fucking white trash. I'll say it proudly.
Everyone in BAM, they have to cross the river now. This is a pretty tense scene. They get to the river. They have to cross one by one. And sure enough, they do cross one by one. And you get to watch each of them cross one by one. And boy, is it tense.
Boy, is it time consuming.
Yeah, boy. And nothing happens for a good long while.
Papa Doc is crossing, and then something starts pulling him down river.
Yeah, you get the robo vision looking at some feet underwater. And
foot fetish.
Silver Fox in Killzone, they're like swimming around trying to find him because he's been submerged underwater, and they do a couple dives and they're like, oh, we almost had him, and then they get out of the water.
The current's not that fast, and you can like very clearly clearly a pretty fast river. You can see like shit just like going by.
They're lucky to be alive.
Masher's just kind of like pounding off because he's like, oh, my killing machines, it's killing some more. And Quang notices that he's fingering his little fanny pack here, so he throws it into the river, and Masher's not too happy about that.
That was his thing that he can use. It sends out electro rays to slow the Omega-1 down or
Quank's
something.
like, you have this as a special tool. Now we're all even.
He doesn't know Masher has several other gadgets. He's got a remote control. And
This is remote control. Yeah, we'll explain that later. Papa Doc wakes up on the bank down the river.
Papa Doc, you made it!
He's unarmed, but the hunter is pursuing him, and Bamber trying to follow, hearing his cries for help. Help! Help! Help!
He's chasing me.
Chasing me.
Oh, stop it. Cut it out.
You're cheering for Omega-1 at this point. You're like, kill this guy.
This is one of the first times we kind of find out that Omega-1 has Dr. Octopus powers. He can like has these really long tentacles that he
First
can send
and
out.
only time.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Here's a
It's
surprise.
the only
trick.
time we see this. Papa Doc's crying out, and they almost find him. This Dr. Octopus tentacle with like 3 tendril things just comes out and reaches and grabs him and drags him off to the bush. Target acquired. Fishing target.
It's a pretty good dragging scene. He's getting like seriously drugged through the woods here.
Yeah. They didn't put any rug or anything like that under him. They're just
They must
dragging
have
him
tied
over
him to a
roots.
winch and just
Yeah,
let
it
it
looked
reel.
like it hurt. On a
Yeah.
scale from 1 to Evil Dead 1, I'd give it about a 6.
If there was a rock around there, he'd be dead.
While this is happening, we kind of cut back to Masher, and like we're really starting to realize more and more that he has a lot to do, more to do with this Omega-1 than anybody realizes. And he pulls out his like second little gadget that he has, and he's like, I've got to do this, or he'll kill us all. I've got to do it. No, he's just like,
Not yet. Yeah. Thank God villains love to monologue out loud.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd have no idea ever what's going on.
Masher, what are you doing back there? Are you monologuing? No,
I'm a good guy like you.
I'm just making. I'll be out in a minute.
They find Papa Doc's body. It's steaming. It's like it's been stripped clear of flesh like the other bodies, and there's steam coming out of its holes. So God only knows what Omega-1 got up to with that thing.
Boy, if there's
Yeah.
steam coming out of the holes.
We won't ask him. Too dramatic.
So this is where we get their little digging in montage where in Predator they make a pretty good little camouflage fort. In this one they built like a treehouse that I might have built when I was 12 years old or something like that. Like
It's like a tiki bar on a beach.
they're ready to have a little tea party there, yeah.
Abe Lincoln. It's got a couple of Abe Lincoln log cabin logs going up and everything. They build themselves a nice little improvised shelter, a lean-to.
I don't even know if we see them set any traps or anything. They're basically like clap their hands like, good, now we can see him coming.
They do have some grenades and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. They set some mine traps up, and they do have the identical line where they're like, nothing's going to get in here. If it comes within a mile, it'll trigger one of our traps. The robot is too clever. It doesn't trigger the traps.
Yeah, they find Masher's remote, and they're like, you got to use it to destroy the hunter. This is when they find that.
It's got limited range.
Yeah, he's like, signal's got to strike him right in the center of the head.
You need to walk right up to him and like put it on his forehead pretty much.
Reminds me of some of the old TV remote controls I had as a kid. Where it was like, you may as well not even have it. You'd have to like go
just for
right up to the
show.
TV, point it directly at the fucking sensor.
Masher's kind of implying that you need me alive. I'm the only one who can press the button on the remote control.
I'm the only one who knows you need to walk right up to it, put this motherfucking thing right on its forehead and push the button, and that's the only way to kill it.
Try it anyway.
Oh, wait, I just gave it all up.
Technology doesn't have feelings. It's got function and malfunction. You can't stop him. I made him perfect.
It's like, oh, this thing's perfect.
But Masher, nonetheless, has this hero moment that's totally out of nowhere and unearned. He leaves the foxhole and he approaches Hunter with the remote. And he
This
just
is
gets
a very poor strategy. I don't know what his plan is here. He seemed pretty confident, like he wasn't going to get immediately wiped out here, but sure enough, he did get wiped out.
What the fuck is this fucking idiot doing? What a fucking moron. Should I vaporize an hour later? I'll wait for him to push the button on the remote. And the button doesn't work.
Gives him a little blue electricity blast or something to kill him.
Yeah, he gets popped like a balloon.
He turns into a dummy real quick.
It's
worth
a
it.
pretty fucking good kill. It's the best one so far in the movie.
Before he went out there, he gives Killzone a tape recorder, and he's like, here, have this. Only play it later at the right time.
He puts it on later, and it's just like him reenacting the theme song from Bonanza and just like doing his little sing-song stuff.
I'm a cowboy.
This is the most embarrassing thing. I didn't want anybody to see it. Play this in private. Bye-bye, Masher. We hardly knew ye.
Omega 1 just totally blows up their shelter now. Their lean-to that they spent so much time trying to build. He fires, like, rains down lasers on it and explodes.
He ruins their tea party.
They run off into the woods.
Corey gets out. That's the Silver Fox. He gets shot too.
So this is another shot that's a direct rip-off from Predator because he gets shot, get the blood on the camera.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, though.
And then one more direct rip-off from Predator. Quang goes, I stay here, Major. No, Quang, no! He's made up his mind. I'd have to kill him to make it change it. Let's go. And Quang does the exact same Billy thing. He takes off his shirt and he pulls out a huge knife for a showdown with Hunter.
Predictably, it goes the same way.
Hunter, except in this one, we just see Hunter shoot him in the head. And then we hear Quang scream in the distance like Billy.
I like to think he got his spine and skull ripped out. They don't show that.
I like to think that, too.
There's no skull and spine ripping in this movie.
No, we know they have access to skulls. We've seen those bodies, but
We could have used some extreme gore.
Yeah.
We could have used some titties.
More squibs.
If you're gonna fucking make a ripoff, like, make it trash.
We already
Lean
saw Predator. Give us something that we
into it.
didn't see in Predator.
put the titties on Omega 1. I don't care.
I have 8 mammary glands.
Superior to a Yucha alien in all ways.
Well, we already learned he can feed many pups.
Yeah,
So now
they're on the run?
It's just Murphy and Virginia.
They're running, and she kind of stumbles. She's like, I can't go on. And he's like, well, we've got to go on. And she's like, oh, wait, there's the field hospital that I initially set up here is right around the corner. Let's go there. Maybe there's some supplies there we can get.
We have everything we need to make napalm. And you're like, how do you know this? Like, oh, don't worry. I got a degree in chemistry. Where you learn how to make napalm all the time.
Yeah, everything we need to make bombs.
So they
We
cut
could
to her
turn this
booby trap.
entire building into a gigantic bomb.
Yeah.
They cut to her
good
making a
nurse.
bomb, and it's really just her like dumping a bunch of gasoline into a stock pot.
Bomb made.
That's all you need to make a bomb.
This is when Murphy plays the tape that Masher gave him. Then the tape reveals that they made the Hunter Omega 1 from Lieutenant Woodring's brain and body.
My God.
You might be more familiar with this Omega 1 than you thought, Killzone. It's actually the brain of your friend in there. Very specifically lays down what's going on.
This is the big plot twist in the movie, which reveals that it isn't just a beat-for-beat ripoff of Predator. It's also a ripoff of RoboCop.
Yeah.
It's a 2-for-1. It's really great.
Yeah.
All you need to do is feed Omega 1 baby food, and then he'll be satisfied.
Thank you.
That's a really good RoboCop.
Stay out of trouble. Sorry, Omega 1.
I wish RoboCop had made fun noises like Omega 1. But
So-
Omega 1 invades them in their hospital.
It's really funny. Killzone goes to open the door. He's like, I gotta go do something about this. He opens the door, and Omega 1's standing on the other side, and it's just like, he just punches him in the face, and he goes flying backwards.
Yeah, he grabs Killzone around the neck, and that's when Killzone is like Jim Whitford.
It's Marty Woodring.
Marty Woodring. Yeah.
Those names matter in these movies.
That's
'cause
true.
They're so stupid.
He's a Green Beret out of Fort Bragg, god damn it.
Marty, is that you in there? Marty. And
His appeal to the robot's emotion works, and the robot lifts his visor to look at him, and then Killzone just like punches him in the neck or something, and it's like, no, your plan was working. The robot was on your side for a second there. Now he's your enemy again because you attacked him.
so Virgin throws some acid on him.
I thought it was orange juice, but it was probably acid.
Orange juice is acidic. Those two things are both bad.
Omega 1 doesn't like either of those.
So this short circuits them. They run outside and shoot lasers at the building. They just blow it sky high. And it's all over, right, guys? That's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie.
But like any good slasher movie, the bad guy pops out for one last scare. They're on the beach. Virginia and Killzone. They see some boats in the distance.
Killzone's like, the cavalry's here. Get off to the boat.
Go for a swim. Oh,
It's only half a mile.
Omega-1 pops out of the foliage. Omega-1's chasing him now, and he does the same thing Arnie does, where he jumps off a waterfall into a body of water. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, but it's far less impressive because the one that Arnold jumps off of is like 6 stories high, and this one's like maybe 2 stories high.
Omega-1, he's been awakened now, and he opens his visor again, and he's like, come on, destroy me, destroy me, to kill me. And it flashes back to Nom in the minefield, and the dude asks Killzone then, he's like, kill me, you gotta kill me. And Killzone couldn't do it, so it's actually kind of an emotional moment. Killzone
It's a character
wells up.
arc.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right in the last minute of the movie.
All he had to do was learn to kill his friend. That was the moral of the story.
Mercy kill.
I think
You had
that's
just killed your friend.
To begin with.
I think that's the emotional arc we're all taking on this podcast project. So finally, Killzone finds the courage. He does what we all want to do, and that's kill our friends.
had to be done.
And it turns out that the little detonator, the little kill switch is actually that detonator switch. So he like puts it like right up against his forehead, which I guess is what you had to do. He goes sky high. Killzone makes it out.
It's a decent explosion. It's not a nuclear one, but
I like it. Dynamite and napalm are cheap. It's as easy as throwing gas into a soup pot. That's how you can make a movie like this.
She probably was just making the pyrotechnics right there that they used it for the movie.
She's a double threat.
we get some more crappy rock music as the credits roll, and that's fucking it. Yeah, and you're right. They do a victory thing because I have it on here that they got the Peel and Guarino characters mixed up. It was like, oh, this is Sonny Peel, and it's like the white guy, and it's like, this is Guarino, and it's the black guy. I was like, no, that's wrong. They got that fucking wrong in the credits. They credited the actors wrong, even in the victory reel. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bruno Mattei, he was a busy guy this year. He didn't have time to go back and check things to make sure the people were credited
Clearly.
properly.
6 movies in 1988.
Realistically, he
This is not
probably
his
got
best.
the footage back and saw it was wrong, and he's like, oh man, it would cost another $300 to send this back and get it redone. No, that's the way it's going into the movie.
The actors aren't going to watch this anyways.
This rock song that they play throughout the movie, it has like the really bad, again, italicized, Italian-sized lyrics where it's like, see the lady, put down the wheel, we're the perfect machine, spinning closer now, and you've been the machine. It's like nonsense lyrics that don't make sense if you actually listen
sucks.
to them.
It makes Frank Stallone sound like Van Halen.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah. Yeah, so that was Robowar.
He's the last one they show in the little victory lap trading card montage there. They show Omega-1 and Robowar. Cut
Our
to black.
friend Omega-1, thank you for being on the pod.
Receive.
I would not have agreed to this had I calculated the depths of your cruelty in advance. This was a horrible experience.
It was a great honor to watch you. He was sophisticated, state-of-the-art technology, and
Do you guys like 8-bit?
better than film. Record with me, Bruno Mattei.
Received. Cum shot. What do you have to say?
Oh, yeah! Predator! Robowar? I gotta say, Robowar is a piece of shit. In a world where there is no Predator, maybe Robowar is good. If you have any curiosity about this, just watch Predator instead. It's just too direct of a ripoff to offer anything of value. And while you're at it, watch RoboCop. Another one of the best movies ever made. I had fun watching both, but Vaughn, what do you figure?
I think I'm leaning heavily towards Predator. Robowar, like a cum shot here said, it wasn't good. It didn't offer anything new. If you're gonna watch a knockoff, it should at least escalate some things, and this movie doesn't. It's less in every way. If you need to watch 2 movies that are like Predator, just watch Predator and then watch Predator again. Predator, it's taut, it's action-packed, it's tense. Robowar is mostly just a guy stumbling through the forest in a cheap rubber suit. Totally Predator. It's one of my favorite movies ever, so that's no surprise to anybody that I'm picking that one. What about you, Stab Mother?
Here comes a dissenting opinion.
Well, actually, I prefer Robowar because it has... Robowar is whatever the 5th or 6th movie Bruno Mattei, Claudio Fragasso, and Rosella Drudy shat out that year, and it feels like it. It's a fun watch, but compared to Predator, Predator is really one of the best action movies of all time. It's from the era where Hollywood had its best action movies, and it's got some of Hollywood's best action movie stars, and it's got the real AAA talent behind it. No debate, Predator is the way to go.
Omega 1, what do you think?
I believe that when you calculate in budgetary constraints, you will find that Robowar provides the superior bang for the buck.
Wow, a dissenting opinion.
There's always one. There's one in every room.
Big thank you to our special guest, Omega 1, today in the studio.
It was an honor and a privilege.
Yeah.
So we're not worthy.
We'll have you on again if we ever do another movie that you were the star of.
So, Mitch, what are we talking about next time?
Oh, well, next time we're taking a trip to the Old West and putting on our leather chaps and our cowboy hats. Old Ma Tex and Pa Tex are going to be there when we go check out The Wild Bunch at Sam Peckinpah's classic and The Ridiculous Six.
Hell yeah.
Adam Sandler classic.
We'll have Josh Young back for that one.
Our greatest cowboy friend that we have.
Yeehaw!
All right, until next time where we're heading down a Wild West way, thanks for listening to High and Low. If you like this podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, share to any lowlifes you might happen to know. Until next time, I'm Vaughn Splatterbag Gonziola.
I'm Mitchell Stab Mother McIsaac.
And I'm Cumshot.
Thanks, we'll catch you next time. Smell you later.